My friends, it is time. It's been a long time coming. It's time. Let me start by saying that I've seen a lot of people come out in the last 24 hours and say things that they know to be true, and which they've known to be true for a long time. And I would like to extend, once again, a very sincere offer to Gator to acknowledge that Ralph is a complete piece of shit and has completely and totally abused his trust for years. Because when the CEO of a company does something that embarrasses himself, he embarrasses his company. But in addition, he embarrasses his staff. He embarrasses the people who work on his product to make him money. And there is no one who could be more conceptually joined at the hip with Ralph and embarrassed by proxy by what Ralph does than Gator. There's a ton of other people, but he is the primary recipient of any kind of abuse from Ralph. What Ralph has done by revenge porning his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever, is not just some ridiculous fucking thing that he's done, which has fucked himself over. It is a direct disrespect to Gator, because Gator is the one who looks like an idiot standing next to this dumpster. So Gator is going to be streaming by himself tonight, and I want to offer my confidence in him. What the Ralph retort is right now is nothing special. It is whatever it was before that Ralph made it special with, completely gone. It's reading the news. It's towing a very safe conservative line. It's playing Tucker Carlson, stating the obvious. And I believe, fully and completely, that Gator can do this by himself, build something for himself, and collect money for himself. Because I know for a fact that Ralph has tens of thousands of dollars in the bank that he is still coasting off of, that Gator has not seen a fucking dime of, and that he's not entitled to, because he has spent years building this fat, retarded alcoholic's entire career. And with that monologue over, I would like to introduce our panel of 6 people. And let me unmute them real quick. Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Pretty good. So just to run by everyone, I see Kraut, Aid, PPP, Aid's friend Shanon, and Wild Smile. All right? Good. Did I get everybody's name right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Aid's big titty friend that I've heard so much about?
That is my big titty friend, yes.
Ooh. No, I'm up, you up, hit me up. That's all I'll say.
Hey, big titty friend, you still there?
I don't know. I don't know who's talking.
Just got some purple diesel, you know. Just anyway. All joking.
Just random people. So Aid, you wanted to talk about Ralph, and I guess we're just gonna let you go ahead, and we'll follow that up with whatever we can think of.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just kind of start with how I know him. I met him probably, it was before he went to jail, so maybe like, what was that, 5 or 6 years ago? Stayed close with him. You know, we wrote each other back and forth when he was in jail. I was close with Nora. And then fast forward to him and Nora getting divorced. She kind of disappeared off the internet for a while. And Ralph and I were talking. I had just gotten out of a relationship, and we had just started talking. And, you know, when you're just getting out of a relationship, you're a little more susceptible to things you wouldn't normally maybe do. But that's kind of how we got talking like that. And yeah. So
who approached who in terms of like a relationship?
Well, in terms of a relationship, that came a little later, but as far as approaching me, to let me know that the way he kind of put it was, I've always wanted to fuck you.
Oh.
And
You got to remember they were friends and she had just got out of a relationship. So, you're fucked up in the head when that happens.
Yeah, and I don't want to make too many excuses for myself. I mean, I'm grown. I'm not that vulnerable or anything, but I kind of went along with it, and I heard that he put something on his Twitter about how he said that he asked me to fuck, and I came down right away. It was actually probably 3 weeks. It was probably a good 3 weeks later before I actually went down there.
Okay.
And
The
you
follow.
didn't know. Oh, go for it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, did you know anything about Faith at the time that you met her or met him?
So when he first split up with Nora, he did tell me that he was talking to an 18-year-old, and we were kind of laughing about it, just like making jokes about it. I was like, well, good on you, whatever. And but we were just making jokes about it, and he's like, it probably won't end well, which is kind of funny considering. And that was it. That was really all. That was really all I had heard about her. And then a couple days later, he started hitting on me, and I kind of just assumed that wasn't really a thing. So that's all I really knew about her initially.
So, and just to clarify, for the 5 years that you knew him before you guys hooked up, you hosted his website, right? Which is why I went down recently, because you just kicked him off the hosting.
No, I didn't kick him off, actually. He took it off himself, and that's why I think it took so long to get it back up, because he didn't know what to do with the backup file he had.
Actually, I have an anecdote similar to that. I briefly hosted a forum for Ralph. I think this was right around the Stream.me era. I was like, you probably need a forum or something where people can congregate to talk about the show if you have future issues. And that ran for like a month, 2 months, and then randomly he got offended by something I said, and I think he just yanked the DNS for the subdomain, and then asked me to like surrender the backup file, and that was it. And I mean, you did it for free, right? Like you hosted the site for him for free as a fan.
Yeah, well, I had started out as a favor right when he got out of jail. Whoever was hosting it previously kind of didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore, and I told him that I would. He wasn't really making any money then, but I continued to host it for free this whole time. So yeah.
He took it down after you made that statement, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right after I posted on Kiwi Farms. And he messaged me too. He said something about like, I've been around long enough to know. He's like, so I took a backup earlier today, and, kind of thought like acting like he got one over on me, but I would have happily given him his site back. Like I wasn't trying to hold his site hostage or anything.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the idea with the forum as well. It's just he yanked it. It's like, oh, well, now you can't fuck with me on this. And it's like, well, I wasn't planning on it.
No.
So you mentioned that you posted to the forum. When did you start posting to the forum? Like it was this week, right? Like a couple of days ago.
Yeah. I've read Kiwi Farms quite a bit, but I've never created an account or posted there before. So I posted, I think it was maybe like 6 or 7 days ago now. This
is a question that I know the answer to already, but I'd like to ask everyone who might know it. How many times does Ralph read his forum thread? How often?
A lot. It got to a point where really Gator kind of had to intervene and start reading it for him so that he could kind of tell him, the bullet points. But I think that Ralph still checks it quite a bit on his own. I mean, whenever something significant happened, he knew immediately.
Isn't Gator so nice, PPP? Isn't he the best?
Are you telling me that he actually has Gator check the Kiwi Farms thread because he's so emotionally unstable? He can't handle it firsthand. He needs it briefed to him secondhand by his consigliere, his head capo, to clean up the meanness and be like, Ethan, they're attacking you this way. That's what happened. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, and it even got to a point where like Gator was like, because I've since been kicked out, but there was a Slack chat that we were all in, and he would send screenshots of what people were saying about me, and I'm like, I really would rather not read insults about myself, but
to elucidate something that'll be a point coming up that I want to bring up. He first announced to the world that he was in a relationship with you during an argument with me on the Dick Show, because I had accused him of being with Pate. Is that her name?
Peyton, the TikTok.
Yeah, the TikTok girl he keeps showing on his Twitter, who's like a titty streamer, basically. That's all she is. And she had an abortion or something. She had like a kid or something at some point. And she had a kid, and people were making fun of him for being a stepfather. The worst thing that a person can possibly be on the internet right now.
Right.
And his immediate reaction, as it tends to be, is to immediately deny that by revealing intimate personal information about himself. So he announces to the world that actually it's you that he's in a relationship with, which is a very honorable way to disclose that, I guess.
Oh, it sure was, yeah.
Were you happy when he did that?
No, I was actually sleeping. I wasn't even listening to the interview. I didn't know. Wasn't it pre-recorded or something, or I don't remember. But I was sleeping and I woke up to like 100 notifications, and I was like, oh, I guess he mentioned it. So no, we weren't gonna really talk about it. But I guess he had to own you in that argument to say that he wasn't sleeping with a cam horse. So
it seems to be a recurring theme, because as I mentioned before we went live, I actually did my homework for the stream and I brainstormed with a friend about 15 different things problems that Ralph created for himself that he could have avoided entirely by not doing anything. And I think even you posting on the forum, even you talking like on this stream, is a result of him running his fucking mouth on Twitter to like own the haters, right? Like, what was the event for this?
For me to come on?
Yeah.
Well, he lashed out, and I had already told him that I wasn't going to escalate it past just posting on Kiwi Farms, but then he took it further. So,
ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour is here. Mr. Matt Jarbo is here. Mr. Jarbo, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just out earning a living for my family, not getting drunk on an internet forum somewhere and crying about not being able to read insults about me. Oh my God, no. People said mean things on the internet. Holy shit.
Happy Boulderversary, Matt.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want to call it. I guess we should really call it maybe that's just the term. I'm okay with that. If it means his utter demise, then let's own it. Let's take it.
I mean, it was, to clarify, it was, I think, 2 years ago exactly. There was some discussion. I think it was on the 9th that it officially, like, the stream happened.
It was on the 8th of August, so it would have been Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
everyone kept saying it was today, and I was like, who am I to argue with the celebration?
In my heart, it was the 11th. And I think retroactively, the Boulderversary is now changed to the 11th to coincide. Retroactively, the universe has changed it to coincide with the cockiversary. I don't know what we're going to call this, the sex tape anniversary or what. Hold on one sec.
The abortion.
The day of the Vienna sausage.
The Ralph abortion.
Did everybody see that last night, or did you just kind of wake up to it this morning? Because I didn't see it last night. I woke up.
I saw it.
I woke up to it.
It was not pleasant.
Me and Kraut probably woke up to it. I woke up to like literally hundreds of notifications across different shit. Like, yeah, you got to look at this.
Yeah.
No, I didn't wake up to it, actually.
All the people creating GIFs. The GIFs were pretty funny.
I just saw it live.
Matt, how much time do you have? Because I kind of want to bash through what Aid has to say before we
I
proceed.
can come back on in a bit. I do have to go pick up an order. I got a few minutes, but
you gotta go collect some boulders.
Yeah. I'm gonna go collect them and deliver them and get paid from a stone quarry. You know what I mean? So,
All right. Sounds
yeah,
good.
just DM me later on, and I'll pop back in for a bit. Aid, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as
officially.
well.
And I'm sorry you were subjected to the gunt. You have my ultimate sympathy, and you seem pretty cool. So lessons learned.
Lessons learned, sure.
Lessons learned, right? All right, cool. I'll see you guys all later.
Yep, talk to you in a bit. All right. So we're talking about the forum thread. I think we wanted to. I guess we could just bash Ralph somewhere. That'd be fun. Does he know any position besides laying on his back? That's a burning question that I have.
I don't want to answer too much of that. I mean, it's embarrassing for me too. But
Yes.
he's as lazy as you think. I mean, it's not a lot of effort on his side.
Well, I mean, he literally in that video he literally just lays there and it jiggles.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think he moves a muscle. I think he could have been paralyzed.
Well, he
or
moves his
something.
fingers.
Well, he moves his thumb. Yeah.
And his lips.
There's a lot of thumb action in that video.
Jeez, I haven't watched it. I'll be honest with you. I tried to listen to it, and I have like if I'm autistic, my autism manifests in like hearing. Like I'm really bad with sounds. I hate chewing sounds. I hate wet sounds, and that shit is fucking disgusting. It's like literally nauseating. I guess Kraut would agree with that because he actually threw up watching that video.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I saw the finger, and that's about as much as I can put up with. That's my limit.
That's about where I cut it off. And then, from what I understand, there was a sniffing incident right after.
He literally shoves his thumb in her ass, pulls it out, and there is an audible as he draws it in, like it's a drag. It's the most fucked up thing I've ever seen, and he posted that to the internet. It's so fucking weird.
Oh man, her
It
life
was
is
a win.
That's so much for her dreams of being a housewife.
Yeah, having babies and stuff. They didn't wear protection, by the way, which I guess.
Oh well, maybe Oh geez, I hope she's on a pill or something.
Okay, so what's his living situation like? People speculate he lives with his mom in that trailer. Is that true?
Well, when I first was going to go over there, I kind of asked him about that. I didn't know because I think he had already been doxxed, but I didn't know. I asked him about it because I knew that he lived with his mom, and the way he explained it to me was that it was a big house and his mom had her own wing. That's what he explained. He said, "My mom has her own wing on the house
of the palace." Let's be honest here. It's a palace.
I mean, that's kind of how he was trying to explain it to me, like it was a nice house. So I get there and I pull up, and it's like I'm looking around because the other houses in the neighborhood were actually pretty nice, but you know how you have the one house in the neighborhood, and then I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And where Ralph stays is just you guys have all seen it, right? All seen the. He actually
I've seen his room.
So so the little box area like off to the side of the house that maybe used to be a porch or something, but they converted it into a room. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where he is pretty much all the time.
So I mean, she does live like on the. Just to clarify, she lives in the property with him.
She does, yeah, she does.
I had a question.
Sorry. No, go for it. No.
I wanted to ask. Some people were talking about the water bed. Is that a water bed or is that a fucking $10 Walmart air mattress that he sleeps on?
Oh God, it's not a water bed. It's just a small bed. When I was there, I was like, I can't stay here. I said, I was gonna go back to my apartment, and he was like, well, can I go with you? And I said, sure, but the problem was he wasn't supposed to leave the state.
Is he still paroled? Just to interrupt real quick.
He is.
Keep going.
He is, and he wasn't supposed to leave the state during that time because of COVID. So they had kind of put a lockdown on anybody on probation leaving. So he wasn't supposed to come up here.
He violated his parole.
He violated his parole to come up here.
That's fucking wild because he swears up and down that he is not on parole. He says that like with a straight face repeatedly. I mean, do you know when his parole ends?
I think in like a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, question for you. I just wanted to ask, Can you describe kind of the aroma, how it smells when you walk into his home?
Oh dear God.
I mean, it's not, it's not like that bad. It's more like, somebody who's ill is living there. So you kind of have that like hospital-ish type smell, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But it doesn't just reek of booze and cigarette smoke, does it? Or
Well, that's kind of confined to the whole bedroom area. He doesn't really come out of there much. So, the kitchen, the living room, it wasn't as bad, but it wasn't kept up. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't keep it up, and his mother, I don't think, can. So,
Does he shower?
he does shower. At least he did around me. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like his habits were a little bit more refined when he was around me, because he did keep making comments about like how he, was being on his best behavior around me, which when he said that, he was mostly referring to his drinking, because he was still drinking every day, but apparently he was really cutting it back.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because in the story fires, when he's with Faith, he sounds slosh. Like, even walking around in public, driving, he sounds like he's actually fucked up. Is he just drunk throughout the entire day?
I think on a normally, yes. I think he was trying really hard not to drink so much around me. The times that I saw him really put him back was during his show. He's really unable to do his show without drinking.
now, this one's a little bit out of left field. Does he do his own laundry, or does he do laundry at all?
I mean, there were a lot of. I mean, you saw his room, right?
That's why
yeah. The short period of time I was there, I spent a lot of time cleaning his room. There was, laundry definitely on the floor.
Wait. He made you clean his room.
No, he didn't make me clean his room. I just, on my own accord, didn't really want to.
Well, you didn't want to live in filth and degeneracy.
Yeah, if you clean up after him, even if just him not picking up after himself, that's making you clean up, because you can't stand it.
Right.
He didn't hold a gun to your head and say, clean my fucking room, but he made you pick up after.
Right. I mean, I had driven all the way out there. I wasn't going to just turn around and leave right away. So I kind of...
What was going through your mind? Like, how did you feel having to pick up after a 34-year-old man?
Well, I mean, at the time I felt kind of bad for him, because he was clearly still devastated about Nora. Like, there was still Nora memorabilia all over the place. Like, I'm like, you got to put this away. Like, you can't just, leave this all over. And, so I kind of had him help me like organize it and everything. But yeah,
that's really bad.
I felt pity, I guess.
This is probably inappropriate, but can I ask how old you are?
I'm 40.
Okay, so you're a little bit older than he is. But,
yeah.
You're way more age appropriate than
right.
Faith is.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that, but
my thing is, no, go ahead.
Well, did the topic of finances ever come up? Like, I imagine one of the big barriers to you having a serious relationship with him would be all his like student debt that we hear about, his home being underwater in value, this sort of thing. What do you know about kind of the financial situation there? Was that a roadblock in the relationship?
I didn't know about the debt. He showed me his bank account, like on his computer, like his statement. He does have money, but I don't know what his debt's like. I don't know.
You won't tell us the balance?
It was a little over 50K.
Okay. Well, so he's doing better than I thought. He saved some of his money.
He doesn't pay rent. He doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't, he's just.
He probably just drinks he probably drinks his income, and he just keeps his savings as like a little.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's why he's overweight. I mean, it's not so much that he's eating a ton; it's the drinking.
Yeah, didn't you say he barely ate? He didn't really eat.
Yeah,
much?
He really didn't. Yeah, he really wasn't like a huge eater. I think it's alcohol.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask, what was the conversation leading to him showing you his bank account information? Because that's not something an average person does. Like, does he go, come over here, look at my account, tell the haters that I'm making tons of money? Like, how did that come up?
He was trying to promote her to like editor in chief or something. No, like COO.
He made me the managing editor because he wanted to just have somebody kind of update it now and then. I don't know why he gave me that title in particular, but it was basically just a favor that I was doing, just updating it, because he hadn't updated that blog since he and Nora got divorced. So he just wanted some content on there to kind of bury that a little bit.
But that had nothing to do with like his finances. He didn't put you in charge of anything like that.
No.
Okay. But you brought up the finances specifically because you were encouraging Faith to take up a civil action against him for the non-consensual pornography, right?
Yeah. I mean, shoot. If he's got money to put her through college, maybe that's what should happen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, you feel bad for Faith? Well, I mean, I'm not sure, because it seems like you have a complicated relationship with her just because of he seemed to double dip, try to swing both at the same time.
No, it's the revenge porn thing. I don't think it's Faith. It's not Faith, is it? In particular.
No, I don't think that anybody should be subject to revenge porn like that. But as far as like how I feel about Faith, like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, she knew we were together when she was with him in LA. So, I mean, why should I be friendly towards her?
Now, I have to ask something to you, because there's been a lot of speculation that the politics that Ralph espouses on his show aren't necessarily the personal politics he has. Does he actually, like in real life or to you, advocate for the white race or conservative values, or is he more of a liberal type person when he's private?
I don't think I wouldn't consider him alt-right or racist or anything like that. No. He doesn't. I mean, I guess give me an example of something that he would say. I mean, he wasn't bashing anybody for their race or anything like that.
Does it seem like offline that politics plays any part of his life? Does he seem like he cares about anything when he's out and out?
He cares about ratings, and that's the only reason that people with those types of views go on his show. I mean, it pulls in ratings.
Does he ever flag people? Does he tell you if he flags people? Did he show you his flagging history?
No. He told me that he would never flag anyone on YouTube because of what happened with Matt, and there's a way, I guess, that you can actually look to see if somebody has flagged. So he said he doesn't flag on YouTube. Whether or not he has another account, or that's not something if I would have known to ask him that, I probably would have, but it wasn't something that I really cared about asking. Yeah.
No, I can't imagine you would have cared about that at all.
No.
What did Shanon want you to bring up? She seemed like she had a point.
Just tell him what he subjected you to, the whole ego thing with the battle rap and Lindsay Lohan.
Oh yeah. The MC Jarbo. He did a rap part on one of his songs. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. He showed me that. He's like, "Did you know that I did a rap?" And I was like, "No." And he was, we were like actually in the car on the way to Michigan, and he was like, he puts it in, and he's like, "Yeah, you got to hear this." And he plays it, and he gets to his part, and he's like, "Yeah, listen." And, I'm listening. And then he gets to the end, and he rewinds it, and he plays it again. And probably 3 or 4 more times. And then during the time that he was with me in Michigan, he probably played just his part several more times for me.
That's funny, because MC Jarbo just put out like another song where he's kind of shitting all over Ralph.
I saw that.
That probably fucking stings real bad, knowing that he's such a big fan of his work now.
Yeah, and he thought that he, because the rap part that he did was all auto-tuned and made him sound better.
Yeah,
so
and split
he
apart.
just
Professionally edited to hide.
right,
We have the
exactly.
exceptional detective has joined. Did you have a question for Aid or anything? No? All right.
He's
Moving
probably
on.
still getting set up.
I think the other thing Shannon wanted me to bring up was
Lindsay Lohan.
when Lindsay Lohan followed him. She followed like a few people in that circle, and he was really excited and talked about it for like 3 straight days, and he'd just make jokes like, hey, did you know Lindsay Lohan follows me? And and he got to the point where he was even like, it's going to be me and Lindsay, she's going to be co-hosting. Like he just like had this whole fantasy in his mind about him and Lindsay Lohan, who ends up unfollowing him like 4 days later.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. I had no fucking clue that he was like that obsessed with like his music career, his budding music career. He's gonna get on Lindsay Lohan's album, The Killstream.
Yeah.
Killstream Records.
So I had a question, kind of, because Ralph does drink a lot, and we know he has really thin skin and he gets angry quick online. Is it similar when you're in person with him? Does he have a bad temper? Did he ever threaten you or try and coerce you or blackmail you, anything like this?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give the impression that he was like ever threatened me or was abusive or anything like that. But he is very thin-skinned. Like if you say anything that's like remotely could offend him, he gets very upset. And
can you give an example of that? Just how petty does it get?
He gets, I'm trying to think of an example, but he kind of starts to whine. Like if you contradict him on something or if you argue on something, he raises his voice, but it gets whiny. So it's like he'll be like, "What, dude? What?" I don't know. I'll think of an example for you and get back to you on that. But yeah,
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. My mic was messed up. Can I ask you a question real quick about something?
Mm-hmm.
Does Ralph actually give a shit about sports? Because he wears a lot of sports stuff. He was in the news for Kansas City. Is he actually a fan of sports, or is that all just? I can't imagine him sitting there actually watching sports.
I mean, we didn't watch any sports, but I guess there weren't really any sports going on at the time because of COVID. But I don't remember him talking about sports or bringing
like
up
he
sports.
Doesn't bring it up. He's never like, man, this is my favorite team. This and that.
No,
he made it a very big point to go on the news to tell them how much he loves sports ball.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but no, we never talked about sports once.
Right,
we never ever talked about sports. But I'm not big into sports.
Go ahead.
On the topic of sports, Ralph repeatedly claimed that he had a weight advantage against people in wrestling and boxing. I guess.
Yeah.
What do you believe that Ralph's physical capacity is? Do you think he could take PPP?
No, I think PPP. How tall are you, PPP? I think you could take him.
Well, I'm 6'4".
Oh yeah, no. You're good.
How is he? Is he 5'1"?
No, he's more like 5'7", maybe 5'6".
So he's a manlet, anyways. He's still a midget.
He's not tall, no, but he's taller than me. So I guess. But what was the question again? Does he?
Well, you were in the no high heels club, though, for sure, though.
Right. But yeah. What was the question again, though?
No, just do you think that he would have the physical capacity to fight anyone?
No, in fact, if you look at there's a picture that got circulated of him where he's kind of standing to the side, but he still is like. You see how big he is, even from the side. Yeah, it's very
spherical, is the word.
Yeah, if you kind of look, you can see his forearm is just really, really skinny, and it seems really disproportional to the rest of him, and that's because he's not. There's no muscle there. It's fat. It's just soft.
Yeah, but isn't his arms like T-Rex arms? They're kind of really stunted.
Yeah, they kind of are. I did notice that. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense how stunted they are.
Yeah, and I thought maybe it was because he's round, so maybe they were just sitting on his, roundness that way. But no, I think his arms are actually short.
Okay. Speaking of his physical attributes, since we're on this topic, I gotta ask you. I gotta ask. No, not what you think. I gotta ask you about the size of his fucking head. Okay. fucking big is this head in real life? Because when you see it on video, it's like a fucking Easter Island head. It's fucking cartoonish and garish. Is it like this in real life? Is it disproportional to the body? I need to know.
It's a relatively big head, yeah. I mean, and somebody was making fun of him about it, and he was like, "They're always, talking about my head being big," and I'm like, "Oh, it's not big. It's fine." I tried to make it feel better, but
oh god,
it's a big head.
So when you were at Ralph's house, did he always constantly bitch about the internet stuff? Like he was always just bitching about something?
Oh yeah, like in real life, did he bring it up randomly?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that's where I first found out that he had, well, at the time was maybe a 1,000-page thread on Kiwi Farms, but it's getting close to 2,000 pages now.
Well, let me refresh it, because I kind of reference him to Darkside Phil because I followed him a lot, right? DSP literally will stay in his house and just stay on his phone 24/7, refreshing his thread. It's very obvious he does this.
She's already confirmed that he reads it like all the time to the point where
oh, he does. Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't here for that. So
yeah.
Did you ever tell him to get off the phone though? Like, did you ever say, "Can you stop?" For a second?
did. I said I didn't think it was good for him because he was, it was upsetting to him. Like, you guys aren't nice.
Are there any people who he in particular talks a lot about, be it positively or negatively?
Nora.
Oh.
Yeah. Nora a lot.
That's very sad.
Yeah, he's clearly not over that, and I think a lot of his bad decisions recently are just a result of him just not coping with it at all.
So you don't think he's just you didn't think he was just a shitty person in overall? I mean, from the post that you made, it kind of insinuated that he was using you to get back at Nora, irregardless. Like you were an object before you were a relationship to him.
Yeah, and like I said on the forums, he was making a joke about how Nora, I guess, used to have like a little crush on me or something, and he was like, "I just cucked my ex-wife."
Right. So you think that his decision making though is still because it's just because he has a broken heart and not because he's just a horrible human being?
I mean, he could be a horrible human being too. I didn't used to think that way about him, but his actions recently, I mean, a lot of people deal with a broken heart. I've been divorced. I didn't do that shit.
Well, most people don't.
We all think about it, but no, that's not something we do. So,
did he allude to what happened with the marriage? Why it ended?
Well, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to upset Nora, but all in all, it was she didn't want to deal with it anymore. She's got her own life now. She doesn't want to deal with him interviewing Nick Fuentes and whoever else he's got on his show that makes her look bad to her job, to her family, whatever else.
Yeah, because my analysis of it was when I was picking at him, when I was starting to get really into him after the fucking call I had with him on Dick's show, I said it's like, you dated Nora young, and she grew up, and she had her career, and she outgrew you, because, his shit's juvenile, and then when you dated a woman, your age, she didn't want you, because you were like a man-child. So then he goes back to, like, the young women again. And I just told him, I was like, either one of two things is going to happen. This woman's going to completely fuck you over because she seems like she has issues, or it's going to be the same thing with Nora again, where she's just going to outgrow you again. Mm-hmm. And that's just my analysis of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, is that she outgrew him. I mean, Nora's a smart girl. I mean, she was really young when she got together with him, and it's just like you said.
I brought this up a couple times. My favorite appearance on the kill stream was when it was the hearing for Kavanaugh for adding him to the Supreme Court, and it was like a 7-hour stream that I did. It was just me, Ralph, and Nora, and it was such a chill stream. And Nora is really funny. Like she's really sharp.
She is. I love her. But she helped him along. I mean, when he was in jail, she was the one who kept him afloat, basically.
Are you guys seeing what he's posting to Twitter right now?
Oh,
Not like
God.
right now, but he is very mad.
I'm blocked.
Is he mad?
He's mad.
Drunk. He's clearly drunk. He's been drunk for like hours.
Well, he was actually being smart about it earlier, where he said he was only going to make, that was his only comment he was going to make on the matter.
Yeah.
It felt to me like he had
started posting about your vulva or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody had asked me to ask about the clit question.
No, it's not a God. I have a small scar. It's not on my vulva. It's like right above. I used to, you like shave that area a lot, and like I had an ingrown hair there that like turned into an abscess, and they had to like squeeze out and everything. I know it's gross, but like it's not a big. It's not like a big deal. Like it's not.
But I mean, come on. If that's all he could come up with,
right?
It just means he didn't get enough dirt on you in time to fuck you.
I mean, it's not. I don't really care. I didn't really care that he tweeted that. Like, I'm not embarrassed about it or anything. I mean, people have scars.
He doesn't
like,
seem to be tweeting about you. He's just randomly lashing out at people.
Yeah. Well, my theory was that he had consulted an attorney, and that's why he was making such a concise statement and shutting up. Because I do think there is potential criminal liability here.
Sure.
Not to interrupt, but PPP, go ahead.
Yeah, no, because Ralph talked on his show last week about something that I honestly thought was just in the Trailer Park Boys and stuff like this. He said that when he's on the air, he a lot of the time pisses in bottles to relieve himself.
I saw that.
No, he really does it.
Yeah. Now, did you ever witness him pissing in bottles or have to clean up his piss bottle collection?
Dear God,
no, I didn't.
Did you have to clean it up?
Oh man, that's some low tier God shit right there.
That's. I hope that I didn't find any piss bottles. I mean, if there were any there, he
was there a cum jar? Was there a cum jar? Did he have a jar of his own cum that he kept?
No, is that the rumor?
No, well, I just don't know what these
I will say when he sent me some pictures from his room, there was no sheets on the bed, and I said, "You better have clean sheets on the bed by the time I get there."
I don't know if he answered this
every morning. Huh? Does he make his bed every morning?
No, and I'd be willing to bet that he had the same sheets on his bed when Faith got there that he had when I was there.
How often does he shower?
Yeah.
Oh God damn.
Did he ever actually wash the sheets between sexual encounters, or?
I was only there the one night, so.
That's a solid no, bro. He's a bachelor man.
I'm gonna guess that he didn't wash them after that, but.
It was long distance for the rest of it, for all 2 months, besides the one night.
No, he came back to Michigan with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he violated his parole. He went to Michigan.
That's right.
In many of its streams, you can hear empty bottles clanking together around on the floor. Did you see any empty bottles or beer cans lying around?
Yeah. There was a lot of that, a lot of like weed paraphernalia, which I mean, I can't say much about that, but like, yeah, it was a lot of just not cleaning up after himself.
But did you find the Xanax bottle? Did you?
Did
he take his mother's medicine?
Well, it's funny because I get a prescription for Klonopin. It's a small amount. I'm not a benzo addict or anything like that.
Oh boy.
But no, it's a prescription, and he got into my prescription. I gave him a few.
Oh no!
And
no, it's true.
thinking that he was gonna take them over a period of time. But no, he just swallows the whole handful of them.
Oh, bro, he probably has bars. He probably has tons of bars. Yeah, it's true then. So that night when we heard the bottle shaking, he was dropping probably benzos or like you said, Klonopin or probably Xanax. He's probably taking some bars.
So let's probe into this a little bit further. So
shit.
So in terms of his mother's medications, do you know what medication she was on?
Oh God,
I don't.
I highly doubt that.
I really don't.
PPP.
I didn't spend a lot of time. I didn't go through their medicine cabinets or anything like that.
Does she still live there?
She was there. Yes. She was kind of like she didn't really come out much.
Was she like in a comatose state? Like what? How's his mom doing? Is she good or?
I think she's fine. But if he kind of makes it out like he takes care of her, which isn't accurate.
Oh, we know that's not true.
Yeah.
He'll make her walk or get an Uber.
Right. I mean, I don't think he lives there for that reason. I think he lives there because he can't be an adult.
Right. It just benefits for himself. Anything that benefits himself, he'll take advantage of. It's very clear. I got you.
Is his penis functional?
So do you believe that if he were to actually at some point in his life manage to get some apartment somewhere, that he would just sink in his own trash?
Probably.
Okay. Going back to Josh, though, is his penis functional?
Is his penis functional? Well, can I tell you?
Tell us the story.
Tell us
everything.
Everything.
I mean, I don't want to get too into details,
Yes, you do.
but I wasn't really into it. Like, it wasn't, the part that we had fun, when we were together was, I thought he was funny. We had a lot of laughs, like, but as far as the sex one, it wasn't really, the best part.
On a scale from 1 to 10.
We're gonna go with a 1.
Really?
Yeah.
It couldn't be any worse, is what you're saying.
It probably couldn't have been much
did
worse.
you just lay there and look at him and ask when he was done? Like, how did this?
Well,
was
it
he
got
on
to
top?
a point where I was giving him more pills because it was like clearly affecting his. It was affecting his ability to like have
Holy
sex. So,
you witnessed a real pill stream in real life in real time.
So hold on. So all right. So you guys were having sex, and what you're saying is it was so bad you just wanted to put him to sleep. So you just fed him some Xanax while you were on top of him. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not like while I was on top of him, but yeah, I was giving him a lot of.
It was so bad that you tried to OD him. Great.
Literally read a Kiwi Farms post that said that, and it turns out it was real. That's
my thing was he kept harping on it. He kept trying to make fun of me and talk about my dick. And I'm like, this motherfucker is projecting as hard as possible. And that's as clear as day that he has something he's compensating for.
He's obsessed with your dick. I mean, like, yeah.
Oh, no. Hold on.
Confirmed.
Hey, did he ever at any point in any conversation, DMs not, whether you were there or not, did he ever talk about Josh's broken dick to you at all?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have a broken dick, though. I'm just saying, did he actually sit down and in detail go, let me tell you about Josh's penis?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
No.
Josh really got to him. I mean,
but he actually sat down with you and was like, I need to talk to you about Josh's dick.
Well, it
like,
wasn't like that. It was, he told me what he had heard or what he saw on Discord or something like that. And he's like, this guy has a broken dick. He has no right to talk about me. And
what did I do to him?
Didn't you say he was obsessed with Josh?
Yeah, he kind of is. Yeah.
What did I do?
Corn, bro. Corn.
No.
Yeah.
What did I do?
It started with the corn. The corn
Oh my
comment.
God.
Okay, this leads. Hold on. I have to ask this. Does Gator like lead him on into these things? Because Gator likes to type out shit on Twitter that makes him schizophrenic. He thinks everything's a gay op, like Randbot. Like he thinks there's feds, and I'm convinced that because Ralph's retarded, and it's very easy to agitate him and lead him on into dumbass ideas.
Well, I want to continue this. It started with the corn.
Yeah.
What is the story with this? Because I legit don't fucking know. I mean, what my comment was for clarification, I said that during the height of PPP, fucking with New Project 2, I accurately said that most people were just trying to get a rise out of Ralph. And I said that because of how he behaves, he has accumulated collectively so much negative attention and so much vitriol from people that it may be beneficial to sacrifice him to the corn so that everything else around him may grow. And this was an accurate observation because that's literally what it was. Is that even right now, I'll read you a tweet about that he tweeted out recently, 3 hours ago. This is him, I think, talking about you. Ethan Ralph says 3 hours ago, old sluts coming out of the woodwork, recordings leaked to me, the kitchen sink being brought out. I got advice, bring it. This is your only chance. I have said this repeatedly, that when you dare people to fuck with you, they will fuck with you, and they'll probably whittle you down over time. And that's my entire point. It's like, don't go out and challenge people to fuck with you, because they will. And that's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, I thought your corn comment was pretty on point. Honestly, I thought it was hilarious, but mostly because I am a fan of South Park, and I remembered that episode with Britney Spears. But yeah, I mean, he does. He antagonizes people. He always has to have an enemy. I don't know if you've noticed that. He always has to have an enemy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's what I was realizing at a certain point was that he seemed to really be kind of scrabbling for his next Mundane Matt. He there was a couple people that he kept bringing up. It wasn't PPP because he's afraid to mention PPP. Oh, did he talk about PPP while we're on this?
The whole PPP thing was actually kind of going on when he was here.
Yeah.
So I kind of caught it just from, him talking on his show and the Gator and all that. But I didn't, I don't want to say that I wasn't a fan of his show, but I didn't really watch it that much. Like the drama that went on with his show, I didn't really pay too much attention to.
Well, I'll tell you this: it's not very female-oriented, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but
I wanted to ask, how much of the antagonism and the enemies that he builds over the internet, how much of that is real festering hatred on his part, or kayfabe, pretend hatred that he needs to run his show and sell his show?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he does get legitimately mad when people criticize him. He does get his feelings hurt. So he does get very sensitive. But I think what happens is that fuels him into starting these online wars, which escalate into him getting more views.
That's so autistic.
Yeah.
So I guess because I really want to know is when you were sitting there and he's talking to Gator or Shanon and all these guys in voice chat, because I know he privately is talking to these guys. He trusts them enough to do that. Are they like egging him on into these crazy ass ideas? Like with the corn thing, I was convinced briefly from what Gator would tweet and the schizophrenic shit that him and Rand would type, that Gator was like filling his head up that Josh was running gay ops everywhere. Everyone, especially when the T-Clips thing happened, I was convinced that he was listening to his internet friends telling him that this is all one big gay op. It's all collusion. There's strings everywhere. Did you see any of that?
Well, I think Gator's gonna say whatever he has to say to try to make Ralph look good. I actually really like Gator, so I feel bad.
No, I mean, like in private, like he was on a call with Gator, and Gator was like, "Man, it's all gay ops," and he was just feeding his insanity that we're seeing now.
Actually, the T-Clips thing kind of started when he was with me, and Gator was actually kind of trying to dial it back a little bit. I think at first, I don't know.
So Shanon was trying to tard wrangle him.
Yeah.
Just to summarize the question, Brian's asking: is his like feud picking like a result of his own personality or people telling him things?
No,
and I really think it's the opposite. That he, his associates like are embarrassed by him and try to tell him to knock it off. Right.
Yeah, they do.
I thought that for a while. I mean, I do now because what you're saying, but I used to think that for a while, what you're saying, Josh, and then I'd see Gator or Rand say this crazy stuff like Surfer's a federal agent, and they would actually believe it. Or when they were tweeting at Joe Rogan with Dick and all this retarded shit and just saying off the wall shit about Spotify and T-Clips, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
is Gator them
with Booberly, by the way?
There is something that I wanted to ask. You might remember that there was this moment with that Australian drunkard, Rand, I believe, where Rand and him had a disagreement, and he held over his head that he had recorded him when he was in tears over his dead child. And I wanted to ask, does he keep dirt or collect dirt on all his associates to hold over their heads?
Yeah, if he finds dirt, he keeps it. I mean, he definitely said that. He doesn't
he literally has folders on his computer.
Right.
Did you see anything with Shannon's name on it? Does Gator have a folder? How big is that folder?
all Gator's dick pics? No. I mean, I'm not the type to like go snooping through somebody's, files or anything like that, but no, I mean, the one thing I can say about Gator is he's paid by Ralph. He's the one person that Ralph pays.
Really?
Yeah.
We thought he was doing it for free this whole time.
No.
Is it like a
Interesting.
living wage? Do you have any idea of how much that is?
I mean, they do pretty well. I mean, they do pretty well on the Dlive streams, and sometimes like tonight, if Gator's hosting the show, he'll get all that money. Ralph will let him keep all the money for it. So, but yeah, he
Wow.
gives them a percentage. I don't know exactly what they have worked out, but I think it's pretty good.
Amazing. But you'd say, right, Aid, that Gator's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I like Gator a lot.
He's a sweetheart. He's a nice guy.
He is. He really is.
Yeah.
Good. I wanted to ask you, because Faith in her last relationship with guys took like a dominant role in the relationship. There was a lot of questions of whether or not Ralph was submissive in the bedroom or into any of that sort of weird shit. Is that the case?
Not with me. No.
Not with you.
No, I'm not that type either. I'm not like, I don't dominate men. So it wouldn't, if he was into that, it probably wouldn't have worked out very well for him.
Now, what about Andy Worski? Do you know anything about Ralph's kind of relationship with Worski? How that comes to be, because he reintroduced Worski onto his show recently, all this sort of thing. What do you know about him?
I don't know a whole lot about Worski. The stuff I do know is probably everything you know. The thing I remember most about him is when they were in that apartment together and Ralph lost his mind. And then I think that was kind of why they had a falling out, right?
Yeah.
That reminds me, though, he briefly came out on Twitter to say that him and Worski did, in fact, have gay sex in Knoxville. Do you think he was joking?
I saw that. Yeah, I think he was joking, but I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, a lot of things happen when you do a lot of drugs, and I think that they both like to do drugs, so you never know.
Fair.
You never know.
Hey, do you?
I kind of want to. I want to pivot kind of to like his association with Dick, because in my opinion recently he's been trying to emulate Dick's success by just copying the mechanics of his show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about like if Dick coaches him on what to do, or if he just like monkey sees, monkey do? I would assume he does. I mean, they seem to have a pretty close relationship. I don't know what they talked about, but I could see that they were DMing back and forth a lot. So I imagine Dick probably does have some advice for him, but I don't know. I mean, I never really knew Dick, other than just listening to his show sometimes. But you were mad at him on Twitter because you said that he was trying to facilitate Ralph cheating on you while in LA. On an in-person visit.
Well, yeah, he was staying with Dick in LA, and that's when he and Faith met up. So, I mean, unless they went, I imagine Dick knew about it.
Well, if you don't mind, I want to kind of pivot on the same time the topic. But did he ever mention Mr. Medicare, Jim, like a lot? Because that's another guy that everybody claims that he tries to claim as his best friend or emulate.
He said that they were, bros or whatever, but
so they're best buddies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned T-Clips and Booberly. Do you know anything about that feud? Because that started around the time they were together in Michigan.
It's funny because I mean, T-Clip's cool. I don't have any issues with her or anything, but right around the time that Ralph and I got together, she was kind of trying to hit up my ex-boyfriend and was messaging me like constantly about it, which was like really getting on my nerves. And that's kind of, I think, where it all started, because we started like jabbing at her like on the timeline. And I think that's actually where it started. I don't know how it escalated so badly, but yeah.
I have a question as well. Did you ever see Ralph when he got mad or sensitive about these things? Did he ever break stuff, maybe punch a hole in the wall, like lash out kind of, and maybe you had to calm him down or something at any point during any of these internet feuds?
No, he's not, he doesn't move around a lot.
He's just a blob.
Yeah, so when he's mad, like it's more like his face gets red. It's the vein pops out of.
Is he a real Renaissance man? Because he's taking Faith to all these museums. He's trying to portray himself as a man of culture and sophistication. Is this the case? Is he reading like Heidegger and Nietzsche every day or some shit and going out to museums? Does he play a musical instrument in his spare time?
No, I don't think he plays any musical instruments. I didn't see any books.
Would you describe him as white trash?
I kind of would. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Did you guys do anything together while you were? I mean, did you go out and do anything?
Well, we did stay at a hotel once, and I can't remember where it was. This was the second time that I visited him right before we broke up, actually. And I can't remember the name of the hotel. The hotel was pretty nice, but I wasn't about to stay in his house again. Other than that, he never really. I mean, everything was closed because of COVID, so I guess it's not a fair thing to say that he didn't take me anywhere. But you know,
what did the house smell like? Did it smell like death?
Where did I ask that?
It's already been out.
Ah, God, you guys asked all the good ones.
Now I gotta ask about the Dick Masterson stuff a bit more, because Dick has advised Ralph to go on Facecam, set up a studio, all this sort of thing. Do you think it's a smart choice for Ralph to go on Facecam nightly and have this studio, or do you think it's a poor decision?
When he was doing his stream from Dick's, I thought it seemed like a good idea at the time. Dick maybe had better lighting, better angling with the cameras. I don't know. It didn't seem quite so bad. But now that he's got that set up at home, I mean, no, I think it's a terrible idea. I think he looks bad.
The greatest idea that he has ever had. I mean, besides posting the sex tape, that's obviously his coup de grace. But the webcam is my little friend. If he ever starts streaming again, that motherfucker's going to pay off one day.
Well, and he keeps trying to make improvements to himself, like by shaving or by like cutting his hair, and it's just making things worse.
Does he even exercise though? Has he started maybe trying to? No. Okay, he just wants to look. He tries to look good while being a slob. Got it.
You know, there was that period of time when he first got out of jail that he had lost a lot of weight, but I don't think he's
that's jail reasons.
Right. I don't think he's lifted a finger since.
King of Paul, I tried to ask chat if they have any questions, and they all just started spamming kick King of Pole. Do you have a piece you would like to say and kind of duck?
Yeah. Fuck Ralph, and nice that you're here, Abe.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good night. Yep.
We love you, Brian.
See you, boys.
Have a good day.
I just wanted to touch on because again with this Dick stuff, like it's almost like a father figure or like a worship thing. I don't know what it is, but he's now named Faith Zoomer Girl. And like, what would you say about Ralph's level of maturity? Is it just that he's immature and he's like dumb? He's naming her Zoomer Girl, or is it like out of a worship for Dick Masterson? Why do you think he's decided to do this?
So it was Dick Masterson that initially came up with the name Zoomer Girl. I thought. No, is that? No, I'm asking.
Of course, it was.
It was okay.
Oh no! I thought you
No,
said.
I'm
Okay,
asking.
I misunderstood.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Okay,
No, it seems like
I
something he would come up with.
Yeah.
I was about to say shit. Like he must be giving him bad advice on purpose. Then that's what I think is happening.
No, I don't know where Zoomer Girl came from. I just started seeing it on Twitter and stuff, and yeah, I mean, I think that shows his immaturity. I mean, he's not a mature man.
We thought it was him trying to brag about her age, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely throwing that in everybody's face. Like, she's 18. Look, I can get an 18-year-old. I mean,
but that was the creepy part. The fact that he had to fixate so much, not on her personality, not how much he liked her or anything. It was her age that got it for him.
Yeah, no, he has never. He didn't say like, "Oh, I love her. She's so funny. She's so smart." It's always like, "I got this young pussy. Y'all ain't got shit." Like that's his attitude towards this woman that he's with, and I don't know. It's very depressing to me.
Yeah, and he wasn't even nice to her. I mean, if you watch those story fires, he was actually pretty mean.
I wanted to ask about the streaming service he uses, Stream Me, the past one, and Dlive. There have been suggestions that he was in contact with admins and moderators, that he bullied them, or that he even got information on who was reporting him. How much of that do you know may or may not be true?
That happened after we broke up. I know that he does, he is in contact with the Dlive people, but he's one of their bigger streamers. But I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know that Dlive would be too thrilled about his recent actions. I mean, they took away his verified symbol when he said the N-word.
Yeah. I got to ask you a couple of questions. Now, here in Canada, there's a figure called Red Green. I don't know if you're aware of him, but he always said, if the ladies don't find you handsome, at least they'll find you handy. Was Ralph like a handyman? Did he ever fix anything around the house? Or did he
No.
play any proficiency with automobiles, being able to fix them? Does he know anything about cars or anything like this handy with his hands?
I didn't see any evidence of that. I mean, you saw the condition of his house, so he's obviously not doing anything to fix that up. Whether or not, you know, he has the ability, I don't know, but I don't think it's something that he actively does. He does have a car, but you know, it's new, so I don't think it needs any work done on it.
The people are hungering for information regarding Ralph's belly. What is the picture? The very famous picture with him having lots of loose skin. From what I understand, he's gained a lot of weight, so that's not like the case anymore. It's like rotund. It's not sagging anymore. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. It doesn't look, that picture, I had never seen that picture before until we were actually already dating, and I was like, whoa. But that picture, no, it doesn't really look like that anymore. It almost looked in that picture like it was like red, like something had been rubbing on it or something, and it was chafed or
grizzled. You know, so maybe is the word that people choose to use.
Yeah, so now it's more just filled out.
Okay, I wanted to touch on something that I think is important to know, and it's, what were Ralph's sleeping habits kind of like? Does he wake up at all odd hours of the day? Does he on a set routine schedule? What is his sleep schedule like? Is he sleeping until 6 p.m, hungover? What's going on?
He does sleep most of the day. He's up most of the night doing kill stream stuff. You know, his show starts at 9, so he starts prepping maybe around 8, and then has a bunch of stuff that he does afterwards. Other than that, yeah, I mean, he pretty much, and that was, you know, I'm awake during the day. I don't usually stay up real late at night, so it was kind of nice because
were you guys like desynced for a while? You guys would have the hours,
Yeah, we didn't really. Yeah, our hours weren't synced at all, not at all.
Yeah,
I had somebody ask. Yeah, no, for sure. If you don't mind, somebody asked me to ask: has Ethan Ralph ever brought up Plate Gang to you? Does that name mean anything to you?
Plate Gang? No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, no worries.
That was after or before her time.
Yeah, I think they were curious if he was still fixated on it. It was all, but go ahead.
Yeah, the Ralph Show, on the Ralph Show, he oftentimes will characterize callers as beta or simps, this sort of shit. Now, I wanted to ask you, is his characteristics, like when he interacts with you, is he like an alpha male? Like, does he take charge of the situation? Is he assertive? Or is he more of like a, you know, laid back kind of beta, go with the flow, simp more so? Would you say he's like a Chad, or is he a simp, or somewhere in between? What would you say?
I wouldn't say he was a Chad. I mean, he can be really quiet. You know, he jokes around, but his personality on the air isn't the same as his personality in real life. When we were first hanging out, he was actually really quiet, like didn't have a lot to say. It was almost like he was too nervous to talk to me.
That's because you're 40.
Yeah, I know. I'm not in high school.
You're
so
not 17.
Yeah.
Shanon, actually, is there anything in particular that you really, really want her to talk about? Because you seem to have like a list of things that you really want her to touch on. Have we missed anything that stands out to you?
No, it's all on her.
There is one thing that I don't think I mentioned. He's been bragging a lot about having Nora come back on his show to own T-Clips, or to own whoever's saying that, you know, he's not on good terms with Nora. But the truth is that Nora fucking hates him. You know? And the only reason she went on his show that after his divorce was because he paid her.
Wow.
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
I mean, can you
elaborate
on why is she so angry at him?
Well, because
too personal?
I mean, well, yeah, I don't want to get too much into that, but you know, I can't remember why he needed to have her on. It was somebody was questioning, you know, whether or not their divorce was amicable. So he paid her to come on and pretend like it was amicable.
Do you think that she'll be angry with you for saying that?
She might be. She might
Aw.
be. And I'm sorry, Nora. I'm really sorry, Nora. But,
Fuck
Nora's
this
a
guy.
great... Yeah. I mean, and on the other side of things, she might be saying, like, fuck him, because I think she's...
Think
she's
about
had
what he
enough.
was saying about you earlier in the day. Like, you're an Adderall addict, you're fucking ugly and old and wrinkled and all this bullshit.
I mean,
you
I'm
know.
40. I'm not in high school.
Yeah, I mean,
to
if you're used to 17-year-olds, I mean, hell.
You know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there anything you're holding back? Because this is your time. You've 3,000 people watching. You can unleash on this fucking guy. Tell us, is there anything that you're holding back? What's really going to embarrass this guy? Make him shut the fuck up.
Do you want to mention you're not kicked?
I'm not kicked. What was that? You can say it if I forgot something.
What we talked about earlier. He didn't realize you weren't kicked off.
Oh, yeah, he are you talking about Facebook?
No,
just say it, it's okay.
How he thought he had kicked you off of the page, but you were able to go in and prevent him.
On Facebook, yeah. So I was the admin on both his Facebook pages, and he never kicked me off of those, but I'm sure he's going to go do that now. So
the chat demands any and all information about Zidane. Would you have? I actually kind of know what happened to Zidane, but I'm curious if you have anything to say.
You guys probably know as much as I do about Zidane. I actually like Zidane too. He's always been cool to me.
Everyone likes Zidane. I will actually, let me put this to rest. Zidane did not go to China. I do know what happened with Zidane. I believe that he
smokes and he never came back.
Not even that. Zidane just had to make a decision at some point if he wanted to be, like a Ralph, or if he wanted to step offline and pursue career options and stuff. And Zidane decided that he would prefer not to be like Ralph, and that's what happened to Zidane.
Okay.
I had very few conversations with him, but we had a talk at some point.
A rational and level-headed choice, to be honest.
I don't think they're on bad terms, as far as I know. I mean, I think they're still on okay terms, but yeah, I think it's what you said, is that he just didn't want to go that route anymore.
You said that earlier, Ralph drinks every day, and do you think he should attend an Alcoholics Anonymous program, or do you know if he's ever attended a program like that? Do you think it would help him?
He might have had to when he was first on probation. I don't know if sometimes they mandate that, but I think he could really benefit from, at this point he probably would have to go to detox. I mean, I don't think he can go a day without drinking.
Really?
Yeah, but if he got into detox and went through rehab or whatever, I think,
do his hands shake if he doesn't have a drink?
His little pudgy hands. I don't remember his hands shaking, but I mean, he did have to have a drink. Like, it wasn't, like I said, I think he was kind of cooling it a little bit around me, but he was drinking a lot still.
Does he drink and drive?
To feel normal.
He didn't, I was doing most of the driving because we took my car up here. So no, I didn't see him drink and drive. I don't know if he does.
Do you think that the ultimate end result of Ralph is that he's going to end up back in jail? Or do you think he's going to be able to turn this around? What do you think, Aid?
I think it could go one of two ways. One, he could go off the deep end and it could end very badly for him. Faith's family could decide to press charges. What he did was illegal. But if he shuts his mouth and he just continues on with the show, booking guests, like not paying attention to what anybody is saying about him, then he might be able to recover from it. But I don't think that's what he's going to do.
See, well, here's things get kind of complicated. Is this Faith? I believe that she has made public that she has some sort of humiliation fetish. So now that she has the cards in her hands that she could destroy this guy's life at any time, I think that there's a possibility that she's going to enjoy that and get back into the relationship, knowing that she can hover that over his head.
I don't know her. Your
Yeah.
guess is as good as mine.
Here's one that's a little bit more lighthearted. Does he waddle when he walks, or how is his?
You can watch the camera and see the waddle.
Yeah,
he waddles.
there's a little waddle there. Yeah.
I just really wanted to hear a female say that he waddled. That's really
How's his
kinda
relationship with his siblings?
I don't think he really has a relationship with his siblings. I think he has one sibling, and I don't think they talk.
Okay, one more for me. Did Ralph ever talk to you about any jobs that he's had or any actual work that he's done in his life?
Yes, he's never worked.
Never.
Never.
Not once.
Not once.
He's never even had like a
he
fast food
proud?
job in his teens.
Nope.
You're
Is
gonna
he
be
proud?
fucking kidding me.
Never worked?
No, he's never had a job.
But he's proud of it,
That's-
isn't he?
You know, I don't know if he was proud of it, but I mean, he did tell me it was.
Yeah.
I guess it was kind of a flex that, you know, hey, look at what I'm doing now, never having had a job. I don't think he finished high school.
What?
I don't think he did. No, don't quote me on that because I could be wrong, but I don't think he did.
Yeah, even I worked fast food when I was 17, 18. I worked at a Whataburger near the beach. I think it should be a law that you have to work like a shitty job for like at least a year.
Sure, it's
Otherwise-
character building. But I don't think his mom, you know, or his parents, whatever, you know, I think he was, I made a tweet the other day that it's like if Eric Cartman grew up and had a podcast, because I think that's probably exactly how he was as a child, that he would just, you know, scream and cry till he got what he wanted.
So a lot of people are asking, did Ralph ever tell you about any of his fetishes, what he was into, that sort of thing?
I'd rather not get into that, to be totally honest.
Oh no.
Can you be vague? How bad is it?
Are they embarrassing?
A little bit.
On a scale of 1
but
to
I
10, one's like cat ears and 10's like vor or something. How bad are we talking?
Well, I mean, you guys saw he's really obsessed with the ass, and I'm not into that, so we didn't go there. But you know, he's really obsessed with the butthole, and
he's not like he's a scatophile, isn't he? If he's
he might be. Yeah.
Oh my fuck. No. Oh, because he fucking did stick his thumb in her ass and sniff it.
Yeah.
And I think he might have sucked the shit off. I don't know.
Ew, don't say that.
No, but he did. He sucked the shit off. He did do it. He sucked.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. That would not be a shock to me.
Oh.
Jesus.
So,
and that's basically the only one. It's kind of vanilla, kind of like anal play and stuff like that, but nothing like he wants to be eaten or he's into giantesses or anything crazy.
I don't think so. I mean, not that he told me.
Does he watch anime?
No, he doesn't watch anime. That was one of the things that we had in common.
Okay, what about video games? Does he play those often, or is that all just bullshit?
Well, now that you say it, he did have a basketball game that he was playing. So there's your sports. He did have a basketball game that he was playing, but other than that, I didn't really see any games.
Amazing. Holy
I'm
shit.
speechless. I'm speechless, boys. I don't know what to say.
Everybody's mind is blown by the revelation that he might have been into scat, because that's pretty fucked. It's pretty fucked. Does anybody have anything else that they wanted to get out there? Let me have a look at the chat.
Somebody had asked me to inquire about his studio. You may have already asked or answered this earlier, but they had asked if the studio is in the shed.
Yes. It's just a desk. I don't really understand what he did. Like, it's almost like he put blankets up around his desk or something for his studio, but his desk is in his room, and that's where he records from.
Okay.
Does he have any hobbies, like anything that he likes to do outside of the show, or does his life basically revolve around the show?
Yeah, his life pretty much revolves around the show and his internet feuds. I didn't know him to have any hobbies, interests.
Fuck. That's really tough, you know?
It explains a lot too, because you need to have a hobby to kind of break things up a little bit. You know, this is what would happen if you just focused on internet autism 24/7. You got to take a step back.
Yeah, or even a part-time job, or just something that it takes you away from the internet for part of the day.
Like, I'm thinking right now about like his circle, his show, what he does, and I'm thinking like, what is his fallback, like his comfortable safe space? Like right now, if you really needed to chill out and relax, like what can he depend on in his life right now?
Pills. Pills and alcohol. I mean, that's really how he copes.
What kind of alcohol, or I mean, what kind of drugs does he indulge in? Because he's accused you of taking Adderall. You've accused him, or you've given him or he took some of your Klonopin, apparently.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any other drugs that he was indulging in while you were there?
I mean, okay, I'm prescribed Adderall too. I take medicines that I'm prescribed. Like, I'm not a drug addict, but I do take Adderall, and I occasionally take Klonopin. He was taking some of my Adderall, and he smokes a lot of pot, which is not a big deal in my opinion. But pills are really what he likes. He likes benzos, the Xanax, the Klonopin, stuff like that.
Do you know if he steals medication from his mother?
You already asked that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what she would be prescribed.
This is interesting to me. Is Ralph's room the room where the sex tape took place, or is that a different room in the house?
Yeah, no, that was definitely his room.
That's his room. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, with all this shit coming out, like Ralph's getting hammered from every angle. He's been humiliated by himself with the sex tape. He's being humiliated by you right now pretty badly. Did he ever express thoughts of suicide, or do you think that he would commit suicide? Is he somebody that's mentally stable, you would say?
I wouldn't say he's mentally stable. He's definitely expressed thoughts of suicide. I don't know if he'd ever actually carry them out. I would think probably not. Yeah. I think he held that over Nora for a while to make her. Yeah.
Oh no.
It's what I expected. It's fucking textbook. It's what I expected. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, he does. He does have those tendencies.
How would you rate his average life expectancy?
I mean, I can't imagine he's got many years left if he keeps going the way he's going. I mean, if he turns it around and starts taking care of himself, then sure. But if he continues on the path that he's on, I give him 5 more years.
The people have a question. They would like any and all information you have regarding Ralph's interest in Soph, the young girl.
I actually don't know anything about that. I've only heard about that through your forum. Maybe somebody can tell me because I really don't know.
Well, he invited a 13-year-old girl onto the kill stream because she had 800,000 subscribers. And then allegedly, although the evidence is very sketchy on this, he may have masturbated to that 13-year-old girl after he had her on the show.
The big thing, okay, just to clarify, during the pill stream, during the first part of the pill stream, because the pill stream was 2 things. There was the actual stream where he was trying to do a show and failing, and then he left it running all night. And then the second half of the pill stream was him stirring and his mother asking him to take her to dialysis, and then him saying that I'm drunk, I can't drive, I'm going to call you an Uber. That's the pill stream. In the first part of the pill stream, when he was trying to operate the streaming software still, he pulled up the previous episode where he had interviewed Soph, and for a while there was literally just like a picture of her face like frozen on the screen for several minutes. And this is where people get the speculation that he masturbated to this picture of Soph. And to further complicate this, Faith looks a lot like Soph, which is why people brought this up.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, that's creepy for sure. I mean, I guess I can't say he's never brought her up to me, so maybe there's a reason for that. But I mean, that's a creepy story.
What about Mundane Matt or Matt Jarbo? Does he ever bring up Jarbo, like how he owned
Like in
him?
real life.
Yeah. In fact, when we were first dating, I didn't
No.
really know the story, and he was like, "Well, you got to listen to it." And,
No.
yeah.
Really?
He's like, this is how I made my name, basically. And,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is on the first date. He goes to girls, hey, do you know I destroyed Matt Jarbo's career?
Pretty much.
And
Were
what's
you
sad is that wasn't
impressed?
really his victory either. That was
the
Zidane's.
fans. Yeah. Were you
But
impressed by the stream? Did you find it funny? Were you?
It was fun. I mean, it was funny. I mean, you know, that's not really my humor, you know. But yeah, he was very adamant about me hearing it and understanding like how that propelled him to where he's at.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just shocking to me because honestly, if I was Ethan Ralph, I would never bring up the kill stream really. Like, unless I was going to get serious with the girl and really bring her into my life, I would never bring up Matt Jarbo. I wouldn't bring up any of this shit. I would just say, look, I do a podcast. Please don't listen to it. It embarrassed.
Well, he would actually text me when I was at home to make sure I was listening to a show.
Okay, while you were dating him, did you have to endure him saying smash or pass on?
Yeah, and I didn't like
Oh.
it. Like, it really bothered me. And I'm
Mm.
like, listen, I don't really, you know, I understand that that's your show, that's how you make money, but I don't really want to listen to it. And he got into this whole like, you're just like Nora, and she complained about the same
Mm.
thing. And
I wonder why.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a legitimate gripe. You know, it's like either I'm not going to listen to it or you shouldn't do it anymore.
Is his attitude towards women the same on the show as it is in real life?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
He's just
I mean,
a pig.
Yeah, he's pretty much just a pig.
The fan zone has another question. They would like to know if Ralph has expressed any particular opinions about his audience in general.
No, not really. I mean, are you saying like maybe he doesn't respect his audience, or
Yeah, they're curious about that. They're hoping to hear something where he like just hates his fans.
No, I think he thinks of them as like his personal army.
Yeah.
You know, he's got, you know, what, 20 loyal fans that are always going to back him up, and you know, I don't think thinks negatively of them.
No. But I also had another question here. Somebody asked, has he ever cried over internet mockery? It's a broad
I've
question. I
not
know.
seen him cry. I've seen him get very upset though.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, did you ever talk about a Gonzalo Lira or Coach Red Pill?
I've heard of Coach Red Pill. I can't remember the story there though.
This is from Knoxville. It's this stuff. I mean, you were dating him like a couple months ago. This is from 2019, 2018.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
What you said that he got really upset a couple times. What do you remember that was like the most upsetting to him?
Well, most notably it was the thing with Josh. I mean, Josh started, like, I thought that what Josh said was supposed to be a joke. I mean, maybe it wasn't, but you know, he flew off the handle. I mean, within minutes of hearing it, he was on Twitter just like, you know, going crazy.
Did he hear it
like,
live, or did he
I think somebody showed it to him. But it was pretty short. But it was pretty shortly after it happened.
It's so fucking bewildering to me. I mean, like any good joke, it's based in a little bit of reality. I explained like the mechanics of it. I was just trying to express a concern I had, but his interpretation of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that he thought I had like declared open war on him. I was going to do everything in my power to bring him down. And like everything, I guess I'm out of questions, but we'll proceed to my list. Cause if you want to stay for the list, let me know.
I'll ask one more question because a lot of people wanted to know. To your knowledge, was Ralph and Nora's marriage real? Was there a real marriage certificate and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Or was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was absolutely real. He was actually, it wasn't even finalized when we were first dating, and he was having to go back and forth with his lawyer. So I don't think he would make all that up. I mean, it was pretty devastating for him because he kept having to go to a lawyer to take more steps towards divorcing Nora.
Okay.
So if they wondering about jail. Did he get raped in jail? Like, can we dispel any
I don't
concerns
think-
about the jail?
If he got raped
tell
in
you
jail,
any
he didn't
stories?
tell me about it. But I mean, would you tell anyone?
This is Ethan Ralph we're talking about.
He did say that he tried to flex his e-celebrity in jail, but nobody really cared.
Oh, that's fucking amazing.
That's gold. That's fucking gold. Was there anything else about jail that he mentioned, or was that it? Did he tell
No.
any stories?
No, he didn't have a lot of stories about jail. I think he was, you know, I think he's pretty boring in jail. There's probably not a lot.
Did Ralph's mother ever have any embarrassing stories about him that she told you, like, at all, or no?
I didn't talk to her much at all. When I did see her, you know, I tried to say hello, like, you know, make a little bit of small talk, but it was really awkward because it seemed like he was just kind of like making her stay in her room. And, you know, she come out to the kitchen or whatever. So I tried to be
Okay.
polite and talk to her, but yeah.
How often does he eat? Do you know? Does he eat regular?
He eats like regular meals. Like I was saying, it's not like a lot. I mean, it's not, you know, a small amount, but for his weight, you would think he eats more, but I think most of his weight comes from the alcohol.
Does Ralph pay taxes?
I believe he does now because I think he got a letter. So yeah, yeah.
You got a letter. To your knowledge, does he ever hire prostitutes, or has he ever mentioned hiring prostitutes?
No, he is not. He is not.
Okay. I think that's probably it.
Yeah,
does he ever abuse his mother or do anything bad to his mother that you saw? This is the last question.
I don't think he abuses her. I just don't think he takes care of her.
Yeah, he just uses his mother, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he has to, you know, I didn't really understand it why he was living there anyway. I mean, he can afford to live on his own. It seemed for a minute like he wanted to move in with me, but I wasn't, you know, down for that.
One more. This is the last one, I swear. Would you describe Ethan Ralph as a productive member of society or a parasite and a leech?
At this point, I would say he's a parasite and a leech. I think he has the potential, but I just don't see it happening, and I think he's falling farther down that spiral that I don't know that he's going to be able to come back from it.
Well, that was the Amazing Aid, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, fucking round of applause for the Amazing Aid.
Thank you.
She did
Thank
great.
you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
It
thanks
takes
for
a lot
having
of
me on,
courage
guys.
to
It was
come
nice
on.
to meet you all and talk to you all finally.
Hopefully, you felt you were treated fairly. We tried our
absolutely.
best.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely. You guys were great.
All right. We appreciate that vote of confidence.
Yep.
We'll see you.
All right. See ya. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right, PPP. Here's what I got. Here's my list of things. This for the audience. To clarify, I have written down. I'm taking the onus upon myself to name as many problems as I could after the corn joke that Ralph has made, which could have been avoided by Ralph doing absolutely nothing. So these are self-inflicted injuries that Ralph has made, like in the last 2 months. Are you ready for this, PPP?
I want to break it down with you, Josh, but I got to take a pee quick. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll be back in 30 fucking seconds. All right.
Oh God, 30 seconds. I gotta find a way to fill in time. Kraut, how are you holding up? It is now 5 a.m. in Serbia. I think it's 4 a.m. in Austria.
It's 5 a.m. here too. We live in the same time zone. I'm holding up fine. This was very interesting. I was surprised that Gator is paid, to be honest. Really am.
Yeah, well, that clarifies what the fuck he gets out of it.
Yeah.
Money.
Like, yeah, it really does explain it, because it changes the entire image. You at first would think that he's just this pathetic person who clings on to Ralph.
The most stalwart friend that could ever possibly be had, but no, now he's like an employee. He's like Mr. Burns and Smithers from The Simpsons. He's just like,
I wish we knew how much he was getting paid.
She said,
because to be honest, I would offer him more money just to fuck with Ralph.
Yeah, probably not that much. Probably, I mean, she said it was a living wage, but she didn't say how much.
He gets $300. I think he gets what his rent is every month, and that's it.
Maybe.
That's what
I would speculate probably about $500 a week. He probably gets half of what.
No, he doesn't. Fuck off.
no.
He doesn't get that. No. He doesn't get $2,000. He works at the grocery store.
Does he work at the grocery store?
Yeah.
Okay, he must not get that much then.
He's tough. It's tough. It's tough to be shit.
Okay. So I'm gonna be reading. I'm gonna be reading chat as we go through these. We're gonna stop at each bullet point and just kind of talk about it. So this is problems that Ralph has inflicted upon himself instead of doing nothing. Problem number 1: he did not ignore my joke about the corn. This has already been talked about with Aid. For some reason, that still like okay. My thing with the forum is I try not to fuck with people. This is sort of an exception to the rule. I've been very deliberately fucking with Ralph very recently, but that's because I've been. I mean, I'm like a vampire. I like to describe myself as like a vampire. I only fuck with people when they invite me to fuck with them, and I feel very invited by Ralph to fuck with him, which is how I justify this to myself. The joke about the corn was not malicious. It was an observation that Ralph was inviting problems into his life, and which he has done. Do you guys have any questions about the corn before we proceed?
Here's the thing, but Josh, what you have to realize is you can't allow any slight to go unanswered. If you do, you're a pussy and a bitch. That's not how it works in prison. If somebody calls you a bitch, you got to stand up and knock them out. So he had no choice but to respond to the corn joke, Josh. He had no choice.
Is that just like white trash shit, or is that like alcoholic shit, or like a combination of the two? What is that? That's like what black people do.
Well, that's the mentality. It's a criminal mentality.
Yeah.
Also, he wants Dick to look up to him, so he's gotta fight back when he can.
The idea is also like Donald Trump does that, so they think that if they act like Trump, they'll have success like Trump. But Donald Trump is like, number 1, incredibly charismatic. Number 2, he has so much money that it doesn't matter what he fucking says in life. And number 3, like he's very effective when he goes on the attack against people. He zeroes in on what actually bothers them and bullies them into like tears. Whereas Ralph just projects his own insecurities. But a lot of these guys, they look up to Trump and they think, oh, well, Trump does this, so I'm going to do it. Only a very select minority of people can get away with the style of life that Trump lives. It's not a general guideline. It's not a general guideline of rules to act like Donald Trump. I'm sorry.
The fact that he tried to get clout in prison by bragging about his supposed celebrity is really revealing.
Shows his disconnect from reality, that he thinks anybody would care.
Guys,
I can see it in my head.
Drug dealers and fucking people who did petty theft about Gamergate and Master Milo. Think about this. Guys, have you heard about Gamergate? Jamarcus, have you heard about Gamergate? I was a leader in the movement. I actually spoke to Milo Yiannopoulos. What the fuck you talking about, homie? That's some gay ass shit. Fuck out my face. Like that's how I imagine it goes.
Yeah.
Shut up about your gay ass nerdy shit, nigga. Jesus.
So if and when he goes back to jail, you can almost guarantee that his cellmate is going to be well aware of the Mundane Matt stream, and he probably will never see it, but he'll be able to quote it verbatim.
He'll know who Jim is. That'll be his takeaway.
I forgot to ask. I wanted to ask, how often does he rewatch the Mundane Matt stream in private on his own?
Oh yeah,
that'd be a good question, because he listens. She said that he listens to his rap from MC Jarbo on repeat. So that's fucking narcissistic as shit. I don't think he'll kill himself because he's a narcissist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was surprised to hear her say, well, I wasn't so surprised that he openly talked about suicide with her and that he was guilt tripping people with suicide. Yeah. I kind of suspected that he was like that, but to hear it confirmed was pretty fucked.
That's like fucking junkie manipulation 101.
I'm going to kill myself if you...
I'm going to put it on record. I fucking hate addicts. Like, I hate addicts. I dehumanize addicts. It's very hard for me to empathize with addicts. I think that Mao Zedong was right by lining up all the addicts in China. I think it saved China, rounding up all the addicts. Addicts It really is like a metamorphosis from human being to like just
Here's
utter
what it
scum
is, right? Is there is a very, 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 very small percentage of people who are able to highly function and be highly effective while abusing drugs. Okay, and those people can only do it for a short window of time, or to eventually catch up with them. Unfortunately, people like Ethan Ralph and Dick Masterson look at those exceptional cases and think, I'm the exception to the rule. I'm going to drink and do drugs and coke and party, and it'll never catch up to me. And then, of course, they end up as addicts and fucked up like 99.9% of people. But they think, well, I'm going to be Hunter S. Thompson. Hunter S. Thompson blew his own fucking head off because he was miserable and he was fucked and he couldn't think properly anymore. These people don't even realize what they're doing to themselves. They think that they're fucking Sherlock Holmes, you doing coke or some shit. They're not. That's the reality. That's the reality.
Okay. Point number 2. Ralph could have saved himself a lot of trouble by not defensively confirming that he was with Aid. Which was, if you didn't know, he announced his relationship with Aid in an argument with me on the Dick Show, where I said that he was dating Pate, who is the pole dancer that he shills on.
Peyton, yeah. Killstream Pay.
Yeah, that he like shills her fucking OnlyFans, even though he's like in a relationship and shit.
She has an OnlyFans? Fuck me.
TikTok. I'm sorry. He shills her fucking titty stream TikTok on Twitter, and she had a kid. And like, isn't it funny that you're raising someone else's kid? And he shoots back, well, actually, I'm with Aid now. I guess I'll just announce it. So all this woman that comes on and just completely fucking humiliates him probably would have had no line of contact, not been known about at all, if he could just shut the fuck up and take a hit without coming back and trying to prove himself, which lines up with what you said before, that he can't just let things slide. He has to prove that he's
It's also part of that Southern mentality, right? Of like this honor code. So like if you've ever read like Outliers is a book. Who the fuck wrote that? It was some black guy wrote it. Outliers talks about how people in the Southern United States, they come from like the Scottish background, and they eventually develop this unique culture of like this honor code that if you insult my honor, I have to respond with force or violence. And you see this particularly with the lowest class whites in the South, is this idea that if somebody impugns my honor, I have to stick up and defend myself, if not verbally, then physically. And this is part of, I think, what it is that working class, white Southern, like honor code, I think is part of why he has to do it.
Okay. Point number 3 on my list. Not randomly calling me a pedophile for no reason on the Dick Show. That probably would have helped. I probably would not be so motivated to just eat him alive if he had showed any kind of restraint, and it really was out of nowhere. He had me on his show like a dozen times, half a dozen times, like multiple times over years, which I guess is why he feels like I'm indebted to him. He really does feel like my podcast, the success of the forums in the last year, is a direct result of me talking on the Ralph Retort. He truly believes that. And me making any joke at his expense was unforgivable. So immediately he hits back with like just the worst shit you could possibly say about a person. I'm sitting there thinking like, what a complete and total fucking retard this guy is. What a fucking scumbag. Because if he really believed these things, he knew about them by the time I was on his stream, right? He knew about them years ago.
Another point that was forgotten to be brought up is like his weird obsession with the notion of loyalty, that people have to be loyal to him at all costs. Like he talks about that a lot, and I know a lot of people mentioned it about him. I think it might have been a good thing to ask her about that.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, when Jem started talking about how there's no such thing as internet friends, he started picking up that line, but he never really believed that. He believes in tit for tat. That's a CRP thing where it's like, if I do anything nice for you, you got to do things nice for me. And it's just not. There are no friends online. This stuff falls apart and joins together. I've seen so many people come and go over 7 years of hosting the forum that it's like hundreds of people enter and leave. The whole internet is made to be ephemeral, so he's just retarded. But really, here's my tip to everyone: don't invite problems into your life, because you will fucking get them. Number 4.
Some
This is not
irony there from the owner of the Kiwi farms, though. Don't invite problems into your life.
well.
He's got a good point, because there is a certain animosity that comes from people being smug assholes on the internet. So if you exhibit just a little bit of humility, like I fucked up, my bad, people will be forgiving. But if you keep going, I'm winning, all these haters, like Ralph is doing, it just continuously brings that traffic of people who just want to fuck with you.
Never be smug. Smug people are the fucking worst. Nobody likes a fucking smug asshole. If you act smug, people will want to fucking knock the fucking smug off of you.
Yeah, I have a smug smile right now.
And yeah,
I feel like I got a good clip in.
Hosting the forum is like, it does invite a lot of problems, which is why I try not to. I never say things like the forum can't be taken down. Like, of course it can be taken down. Like, I go out of my way to not be smug, because I know everything that I have is like a balancing act. I've got plates spinning in 10 different directions, and I know at any time if one of those things fall out of place, it's all over. So I try to be humble about.
We love you, generous Josh. You know.
Thank you.
We love you, buddy.
Point number 4, Ralph would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not blocking people on Twitter. This seems like a petty point compared to other things, but it really does show how completely and totally incapable he is of seeing anything he does not like, because he does go to the likes of tweets he does not like and blocks everyone who likes a tweet that is offensive to him too. So he has blocked out like a huge segment of the internet, and all like former fans and people watching this right now are fucking blocked by him. And it's sort of like a bee sting, when he starts doing that, he shows that he's in pain and he can't take it, and it stimulates people to fuck with him more.
It signals that there's blood in the water, and then the sharks come. But I mean, what bothers me about this whole blocking and safe space shit is that these guys, like Ralph started in Gamergate, which was all about shitting on SJWs for living in like hug boxes with safe spaces and all this shit. And now they're doing the same thing. They're blocking, they're flagging, they're deleting comments and shutting it down, when they basically made their name off of the SJWs and of Jarbo and other people doing the same thing.
I will add to that point of yours that it's not just the blocking, it's also the cowardice in how he picks his targets. If you've been following his Twitter over the last hour, he's lashing out and attacking some random Canadian girl with no following, no, notoriety or any fame whatsoever. He just picked that specific person out of the thousands probably currently shitting on him as his target. He's very cowardly in how he picks his targets. He very much avoids going after people who he know could do damage to him. He doesn't mention PPP by name on his streams anymore. He doesn't mention me anymore. And I think after this stream, he won't be mentioning you anymore.
Maybe, but that's actually very funny, because of my next point. Ralph would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not using the Ralph retort as a platform against me, because it told everyone to go read his forum thread. He spent several segments on several different episodes talking about me for, like, to his guests. Like, his guests where you're supposed to be talking. You know how when Aid was here, we talked about Aid, or tried to talk about Aid? That's what you usually do when you have a guest on. You don't, like, if I had sat here and ranted about Ralph to her, or not even to Ralph, like about someone else, about Brian Dunn or whatever, to her, she wouldn't have given a fuck. But he did that several times. And it's just the word. Like, even Dick knows not to go onto his podcast and talk about his issues in a way that his audience isn't interested in. I know not to do that. I don't bring this onto my YouTube channel because I know that the majority of my subscribers don't give a fuck about a feud with Ralph, right? So that was also a mistake. Why tell your own audience what a fuck up you are and how people are making fun of you?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a disaster when he had that guest on. We had Ryan Long on, and he was telling him, "I'm not a pedophile. I swear to God, I'm not a pedophile." Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. he makes his own problems most of the time. The reality is none of us really have to do anything. He just destroys himself. It's the truth.
Like with the Twitter thing, right? Blocking everybody on Twitter, like you mentioned, it just sends out a red flag to all of the people like, hey, this person's affected by this. You could get a reaction from them. But in his mind, and Dick Masterson thinks the same way, that, well, I'm such an important person, this is just annoying, and I don't want to deal with annoying people. But in reality, they're a little triggered by whatever they saw. They didn't like what they heard, but their cope mechanism is, well, I'm actually this super important internet personality. I don't think you've ever heard. Have you ever heard of Mundane Matt?
Actually, I want to contest that point because you can hide what annoying people are saying. Like if when I get spastics who join Twitter just to at me fucking 20 times a day, but I mute them. You don't block them because blocking people prevents one other thing in addition to not seeing their messages. It prevents them from going to your tweets and replying to people replying to you. But what he really doesn't want is, not only does he not want these people seeing his content, or rather for him not to see their tweets, he doesn't want them talking to his fans and causing issues with the subscriber base, the money.
That also points to, he never blocks other people with large followings. He never does that. Whenever, he never blocked me. He never blocked. If you have above 5,000 followers on Twitter, he will not block you, but he will block your followers. That was my experience, at least when I was still on Twitter. That my followers, whenever I had an encounter with him, my followers would always say, like, "Wait, who are you arguing with? Because that person has me blocked." I think he actually goes through people's following lists and blocks people's followers.
Yeah, I think he blocked everyone who followed me, for instance. Yeah, I heard a lot of people that they got blocked.
Yeah.
Okay, let me throw up this picture. I've done this before. I've shown this picture before, but I have to show it again because everyone in this picture is on my shit list, my personal shit list.
The shit list.
Yes, my shit list.
The Richard Nixon-esque list of enemies?
Yes.
I thought you were an unbiased moderator of the intellectual discussion on Kiwi Farm.
Very specifically, fuck these people. You've seen it before. I guess I'll send it on Discord. But this picture, Ralph could have saved himself a lot of trouble by not inviting Digibro's girlfriend, the producer of the Dick Show, and his girlfriend over to his house.
Yeah.
Because this picture basically proved what you were saying about about New Project 2, or at least about the people in that sphere. Like, yeah, even though Ralph will come out and call me a pedophile in his stream, he will then literally sleep on Digibro's couch with Faith. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
This is where I have to ask you something. Is today I saw that you were back in Dick's Discord, and hanging out with some of those people again. Not Digibro, I guess, but like, what the fuck is going on there? Like, because I think Dick is like guilty of really enabling Ethan Ralph, and he's defended him to the fucking death. And today he's still not even fully disavowing him. But then, some of us have this tendency to maybe want to forgive him. And I don't really think we should extend him that, because I think he's a piece of shit, to be honest.
I have very mixed feelings. I think that a lot of his fans really miss me. And I think that after this, he was compelled to invite me back in just because of how unbelievably toxic Ralph has become. But in my presence there, I just noticed that like Digibro is there, his girlfriend's there. They're open about how they like jerk off to Lolicon and shit, and it's insufferable. I can't fucking tolerate some of these people. Riley in particular, like I talking to him, I used to just think he was real fucking retarded, but I realized talking to him that he was strung out. The reason why he was so incoherent was that he's a drug addict as well. And I was talking about that. I was like, I really don't fucking respect addicts at all. I'm like, well, what about Dick? He's an alcoholic. I'm like, well, I guess you got me there. I don't know what to think. I'm not someone who will cut someone off. I'm not someone who will, in a way like Dick. Dick will probably never disavow Ethan Ralph. He didn't disavow Digibro. He didn't disavow anyone. But I'm reluctant to say like, oh, I just want nothing to do with Dick.
See, because I really think that Dick has some level of responsibility to condemn Ralph's behavior and to let his audience know he's not fine with it. Because the more he enables and promotes this man, the more people are going to get abused. I mean, how many more people like Faith do we need? How
he
many more?
explicitly condemned revenge porn, I think.
Oh, thank God for that. It's like saying, well, I condemn pedophilia or people shooting heroin. Yeah, fantastic. Are you going to do anything about your supposed stance against this? Are you going to, fucking shit on the guy or tell people don't fucking buy his shit, don't give him money? Like what he's doing is he knows where the wind is blowing right now, and it's blowing in the direction of Ralph is fucked up. And so he knows that endangers his money, so he has to put out a token statement. But in a few months' time, if we let him and these other motherfuckers like Dame and Toad and these other Judases, just kind of get away with it without really condemning him, and Jim get away without really condemning him, then in a few months' time, they'll be back on the Ralph retort, back gun guarding, this whole fucking thing. This cannot continue anymore. This has to stop at a certain point, or what the fuck? I mean, how many more lives have to be ruined by this fucking alcoholic pill-popping piece of white trash? I just don't know. I hate to be a moralizing faggot, but I feel that way.
Well, as Dame Pesos and the rest of the gun card has informed all of us over the past few weeks, as long as this woman is of legal age, we can't say shit. We're not even allowed to have an opinion on it.
Oh yeah.
Well, why even do something? Why insist on trying to drive Dick Masterson or someone else into condemning him? Why should it be your duty or my duty to protect people from Ethan Ralph?
Next time I talk to him, I'm going to bring up some issues that I have.
I sure hope so, because I know the guy doesn't have any real morals. I think he only cares about his money. That's the sort of guy that he is. He's a worldly guy. He's a nihilistic guy. He cares about wine, women, and song, and that's all well and good. But what he's enabling with Ethan Ralph is just beyond the fucking pale. I'm sorry. And associating with people like Digibro and all this shit, it's just fucked to me. It's fucked.
Yeah,
you can't do shit like
Digibro has no redeeming qualities. He is just an attention whore and a pedophile, and he uses being a pedophile to get more attention. That's all there is to him.
I thought Ralph hated pedophiles.
He does, unless they let him sleep on his couch, I guess. Unless they're friends with Dick.
Or they're his internet friends, or tell him how cool he is, or how great his show is. Then, fuck all that, right?
Yeah. All right, next, halfway through. Ralph would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not cheating on Aid.
Wow, what a great move. I still never understand the mentality of guys who are cheating. Like, if you're really unhappy with your relationship, just fucking brick them off. Just get rid of them. I don't understand this mentality. I guess it's, well, I want to have the best of all the different worlds or whatever. I don't get it myself. I think he just is a fuck up. He's just a big time fuck up. And I don't understand. Like, he should be grateful for any pussy he's getting at all and try and conserve it at all costs. Why he's fucking around and doing all this shit, it's God only knows, really. Jesus.
Your fans are asking to read a copy pasta. Should we indulge them at some point after you went through your points?
Maybe to round it off, because I have to finish this and try to get some sleep before it gets too light outside. Following that, Ralph would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not cheating on Faith. If you don't know the story, what happened is that he hooked up with Faith while he was in LA, while he was supposedly with Aid, and that's what made Aid dump Ralph. Months later, while he's with Faith, he starts messaging Aid on Twitter trying to hook up a threesome without Faith's knowledge. So I would consider that infidelity, because she didn't say this is okay. And I think that is, besides the revenge porn, that's one of the motivating factors that got Aid to finally come onto the forum and start. Actually, her coming here was a result of the revenge porn. Her showing up on the forum was a result of the threesome, or the threesome tweets, or the messages. So just complete fucking unbelievable idiocy. He gave everyone every reason to be pissed off at him, and I bring that up in a later point. But I want to swing back to PPP. This is two PPP points. He would have saved himself a lot of trouble by ignoring PPP as opposed
I know.
to.
Can you imagine? Like, I just don't understand why he ever addresses me or gives me more fuel to my fire. I don't get it, because every time he does it, it just gives me more content.
I have a theory, though. I think it's like Mundane Matt, how somebody said earlier that he's always looking for the next Mundane Matt. I think when he saw the Starfish stream, they went, that's it. That's our new Mundane Matt. And without any foresight, without any, evaluation going, this is probably not working out too well. I think they doubled down on it over and over again, thinking that eventually the dam will break and eventually they'll get.
Now they're afraid to mention PPP. At some point they didn't realize.
That's kind of ironic, isn't it?
It's like
an event, a series of events that started with PPP showing his arsehole would end up here with Ralph burrowing around in someone else's arsehole.
It's like in Ghostbusters, where they're at the top of the tower and he says, "Choose the form of the destructor," and the first thing Ralph thinks of is PPP's asshole, and it's just PPP's asshole rising up above the city of New York to destroy it. That's what's happened inadvertently.
Let us not forget the time that Dick Masterson couldn't drop acid because he was busy thinking about my asshole. He was emotionally distressed. let us not.
I was elucidating. That's the last thing I'd want to have on my mind.
You're thinking about my beautiful pink puckered starfish while you're on LSD. You're trapped in a time loop where for all eternity, you've lost your mind. And for all eternity, it's just the same 6 seconds of me showing my asshole and yelling out to Daddy Jim. Daddy Jim, please, come on, Daddy Jim. As I show my asshole. I don't know. I think it's really funny that I'm the guy that's fucking breaking Ethan this badly, because it really shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. But it is somehow.
Okay, on that note, this is one of the first I actually told you this in private, is that I was compiling this list over weeks in my head, thinking like he could have really avoided all of this by just not doing that. There was a point where we did the series of streams of just restreaming his Patreon content that got him to start whining to the Dlive admins to get shit taken down. And I'm very surprised that this stream actually has stayed up, but I guess they've realized that he's fucking dead weight at this point. He's a millstone around their neck. But he would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not DMCAing our streams. And really, I was afraid of doing that because I figured he would wisen up and just go on Twitter and go, "Oh, thanks PPP and Josh for streaming my Patreon content. If anyone else is interested, you can sign up on Patreon right here." And that would be it. And would completely deflate all of that. Like with the Matt stream, all he had to do was not do what he did, where he started up the stream and then aborted it himself when he realized that we were shitting on him too hard. Like, just don't do that. But he always took the dumbest route every time anything happened.
He always takes the bait. And I think that he should learn the basic rules of the internet. Gator should sit him down and say, "Look, I'm the original fag, Ethan. I've been browsing polls since 2012, okay? And let me tell you this, you don't want to feed the trolls." But has Gator sat him down and explained it to him, do you think? Or is he just retarded?
I think he's tried, but I think what happens is he'll formulate a plan. Like when he made the very sober tweet saying, "I know what's happened, and I'm not going to comment on it." But then he starts hitting the bottle. And then his plan falls to shit because he just can't help himself.
Fuck. Well, Aid was saying, like, he can't even go a day without a drink. Like, he needs alcohol in his system constantly to remain functional. And I think that's a really sad place for anyone to be. It's really sad.
Okay.
Next.
Ralph would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not calling on his friends to block or blocklist all of us. Because remember that Dame and other people were complicit in blocking like tons and tons of people, and it made everything way more interesting as a result.
Well, they were going to put thoughts into people's heads that they shouldn't be thinking, so they had to go. They had to be unpersoned.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if they independently came to the decision to do that, or if like Ralph really didn't want Gator or Dame to like see things that people were saying about him.
I don't know where the orders come from. I don't know if they come from Ethan Ralph or Dick Masterson. I'm starting to think they come straight from Keemstar as to what these guys do and how they act and behave. I wouldn't be shocked.
Oh God, if Keemstar is the puppet master, that would be a twist. That would be a real twist.
I think he is the puppet master. I think he even tells Janitor Jim what to do.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
Keem.
I think
That's
you're
what I
right.
think.
Maybe there isn't a conspiracy. Maybe these people are not conspiring. Maybe they're all just rather stupid and keep coincidentally always doing the dumb thing, the wrong
No,
thing.
That's the
and
simplest
maybe-
solution. Yes.
And maybe the person who logged into my Twitter from Buffalo wasn't Keemstar. I don't know, but I just suspect it.
Well, Digibro's pedophile girlfriend, who I think is a tranny, says in chat, "You all are a bunch of schizos. Thank you, pedophile, for your attention to this matter. We're
We
schizos."
Blown the
We-
fuck
we
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Ralph would have saved himself a lot of time by not parading Faith around on camera. I think because if you don't remember, she has meth mouth because I think she's done meth. She is not comfortable on camera at all, just very obviously. And he insists on having her on camera specifically because he has to prove to me that he's got a hot young piece of ass and I'm missing out. Literally, that's, I felt like I was giving myself too much credit by saying that, but according to Aid, that might be literally it.
Why does it matter so much to fucking people whether or not you're getting laid or not? I'd never have understood this mentality of like, I'm a big man because I'm sleeping around. Like, anybody can really pick up whores like, sluts and crack addicts and shit like this. Like, if I went down to the fucking dirty area of town, I could probably get 6 fucking dirty, toothless crackheads to suck my cock. But would it be worth my time or something worth bragging about? No. I just don't get the mentality of people like that. I really don't.
The saddest one is really the second story fire that he did, where it was now, we had all made fun of her for having meth mouth, which is kind of mean, but I mean, she's on camera. What are we going to do? Just like politely ignore it? Like how people ignored the president was a cripple during World War II, just out of politeness for morale? Like, no, we're going to make fun of it. So the second time he gets her on camera, the camera pans towards her. It's like the camera is like a hot stove and she can't look at it because it's just radiating heat. She flinches, she covers her face and shit. And he's like, you look at that camera and you smile. Let's see that beautiful smile. And he forces her to look at the camera and grimace at it for his amusement, to own the haters on the internet.
Like, here's the thing. Black Pigeon Speaks is in the chat, gun guarding right now. And I just got to ask him, like, are you fucking retarded, bro? Or are you living under a rock? You don't understand what happened today? You're going to come into the chat, Black Pigeon, and try and say, like, we're all virgins and you're getting sweet anime pussy? I don't know, man. But
you watch the video of this fat fuck sucking shit off his fucking thumb and you tell me that's not funny.
I don't know what to say to him. He's like, oh, PPP couldn't get laid. Yeah, and I never claimed that I'm the greatest man on earth. I just said I could go get whores down.
Do you think it might be a little more sinister that he was humiliating her? That he was using her as a kind of gun shield? That he put her out there in the public on purpose, knowing that she would get flack, knowing that people would mock her, knowing that people would bully her?
I think it was literally just like he did not give a fuck about her mental well-being at all. I will drag this woman through the dirt if it will make me look 5% cooler to people online. I think that's it.
And remember, in this Storyfire video, what he says to her, I think word for word, is, you better smile, motherfucker. You know, and I know he's being playful, but that's how he said it to her. Smile, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly like that. Like it was threatening.
He goes, don't ruin my shot. Don't ruin my shot. Smile. Like, that's what he said. Don't ruin my footage. Don't ruin my footage.
Like what you would say to your girlfriend if she's like, I hate my smile. You'd be like, honey, that smile brings joy to my life every time I see it. Don't ever be ashamed of it. You know, something sweet. Instead, it's just like, no, fuck you. You're ruining my video. I'm internet famous. Like, it's so fucked.
Ralph would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not publicly humiliating Faith's father on Twitter.
Oh, God.
Because you know what?
We don't even know the fullest extent of that. You know.
No, we don't.
Because for all we know, he could be in a car right now driving out to Virginia to kick his fucking teeth in.
Well, my thing is, after the sex tape, is if she goes home, and I believe that she's not going to come back at this point. If she's with him, he may, specifically because of his interactions with Ralph, say we have to go back to Virginia. We have to try and convince the district attorney to press criminal charges. We're going to go file a civil suit. I'm going to use whatever money I have to fund this. You know what I mean? And it could be entirely because he specifically...
I don't think you will see that. I don't think you will see that. If you remember the JF thing, who lured that disabled girl into his home, what happened there was that her father drove all the way up from Texas to South Carolina and beat the living crap out of him, got his daughter back and went back home. Yeah, beat the living crap out of JF. And I'm pretty sure, like, fathers care for their daughters. Fathers genuinely love their daughters, care for their daughters, don't want harm to come to their daughters. And fathers will seek out revenge when someone messes with their daughters. And that's what I mean when I say we have not seen the fullest extent of that yet. It is quite possible that that man will seek out revenge for what was done to his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, Faith's a complete wild card. I can't predict anything. I'm not saying like she's a mastermind or she's evil or whatever, but I am saying that I do not know what to expect now, because finally Ralph would have saved himself a lot of trouble by not publishing a sex tape.
What a hot take.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know if I can agree with that.
Oh,
I remember though the one thing, because this is the victory he had in that the boyfriend's stream. He was being ritualistically humiliated by the entire internet watching this thing. So that was his one jab, and I hope it was worth it. But he threw all of this shit away just so he could make sure that everyone knew that he was actually fucking that chick. He's not a virgin.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I honestly don't think Faith is faultless in anything either. I really think she's a manipulative person. If you watched the meth dealers show last night, I mean, holy fuck, he's getting taken for a massive, massive ride. We haven't really had the opportunity to go over those DMs, which was, I guess, what this show was supposed to be yesterday, but it's morphed. I really don't like Faith, and I think that she is a manipulative person. She's clout chasing. Maybe it'll turn out she was like an Antifa plant or something, but I don't think that's the case. I think she's just a really self-serving person who wanted to get out from under her parents' thumb and saw Ralph as an opportunity to do that and get internet famous there. That's what
one of my pet theories is that there's one or two options here. I think that either she's just like a really sad girl and she just wanted some attention, didn't realize what she was getting into with Ralph, didn't have any idea. The other is the more fun option, which is the mastermind option, where she knows that her boyfriend had a humiliation fetish. I believe that she might have a fetish for humiliating men. And this is a long con to humiliate her ex, the meth head, who hates Ethan Ralph, and then also humiliate Ethan Ralph. In fact, I'm tempted to say that she encouraged him to publish the video because she knew it would completely destroy him in the process. Mm-hmm. That would be the most Kino possible ending. But
it really would be very, very Kino if it was a long con to enable the fetish. I want to point out that Black Pigeon speaks last words in the chat where I'm going to watch the video. So
famous last words.
Have fun with that there, Felix, you fucking idiot. That's all I really got to say about that guy. Do you guys realize he believes that ghosts are real and that he was haunted by a poltergeist for a month and he had to leave his home because he was haunted by a poltergeist? This is a real thing that he said. Just fucking crazy.
I have to point out, do you think Ralph will in the near future ever be in any kind of close contact with any other woman again? Because I'm pretty sure that from now on, if he ever hits on anyone, the first thing that will flood her inbox are these videos and all that shit.
Anyone who searches him is going to find the revenge porn stuff. I would be very surprised if the revenge porn stuff does not get him kicked off of Dlive. Like that, how could they ignore that? You know what I mean?
There's something about the video that I wanted to ask Josh. That PPP and I talked about this during our stream. Godwinson thought that he recorded it without her knowledge, that she didn't know that he was filming her.
I mean, that's hard to believe. Yeah,
I want to say there's I want to say there's a part where she turns around like, "What are you doing?" And he was filming. So at least it seems that she wasn't aware that the filming was going to take place until it started.
The only argument that can really be made is that she was so drunk or so high that she didn't understand what was going on at the time. But I mean, the reality is he has his cell phone pulled out. She looks around. She knows
the argument that it was revenge porn is much stronger than it was filmed without her knowledge, because she does acknowledge the camera.
I think it's clearly revenge porn. If she doesn't like the fact that he dropped the sex tape, he's going to have a tough time. But my honest position is this. I have very little faith in humanity at this point. I think he's going to get away with this. I don't think he's going to jail. I don't think he's getting sued. And I really don't even think that women will stay away from him, because the female nature is to want attention and crave attention. He's a lightning rod for attention, an easy path to a small amount of fame. You know, he's very low-hanging fruit, and he'll take just about any fucking trash tier woman off the street. You know, I even get DMs from fucking e-girls, okay? And I look the way I do, for fuck's sake. So, I mean, the reality of it is he's still going to get female attention. He's still going to have an opportunity to victimize people. And that's just what I think. Now, maybe he'll get his comeuppance, but I don't have a lot of faith because he keeps getting away with it.
I think his circle is going to shrink too small. He'll probably have, like, you know, like DSP. DSP has his like titanium tungsten core audience that will never ever flake away from him. That are like the majority of his finances, and I think that Ralph will probably always have that. If Gator decides to split, which I hope he does, I think that core audience would be cut right down the middle. Maybe it would be shared between them. But yeah, I mean, you can't destroy someone who has no shame. He's not going to pull like a Leafy's here and say, "Oh, well, I'm defeated. Goodbye, internet," because that's all he has. You know what I mean? Yeah. He might. I mean, like with Tonka still streams to like 90 people. You know, he still has his show, but nobody's talked about that in forever because it's not interesting. When Matt got crushed, he did his. You know, he went to the grind. To his credit, he started up his channels, did his grind, made his money. But you know, Matt just does what Matt does, and that's it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think this will be the end of him, but I think that it's
damaging. It's damaging.
I'm on the position that I don't want to make any predictions. Like, honestly, did any of you believe, like 2 days ago, that we would see a video of Ethan Ralph picking through and savoring the feces of a teenage girl?
Nope.
Did any of you predict this?
We're
did
off
any
the
of you
wagon. It's like I said,
what
there's no
could
point
happen
trying
next?
to predict what's going to happen.
What's
I
next?
don't know. I think the timeline started to shift the moment Toad started retweeting the 26 pieces of silver. I think at that moment, like, my conception of reality became reality. Like, I conceived and believed that this sort of thing would happen, and then it happened. I don't know. It's like a laws of attraction fucking thing there.
It's you're doing some positive affirmations. You're bending the world around you to your will.
I'm like the Conor McGregor. I know the secret, you know, and I'm making it happen. I'm influencing the universe to my will. That's really the only way I can explain this shit. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I believe in that. I'm one of those weirdos who believes in, like, if you think positively about stuff, it'll happen. If you put out good energy, you'll attract good energy. I'm one of those people.
Well, I believe in it because I've seen it work for so many people in sales that I genuinely believe in it.
You have a magnetic personality. You're very funny, and Ralph is a very dour, bitter person. So just nothing else really matters. People will forgive anything if you're funny.
I believe this is just magical realism right now. That the most absurd and insane and silliest fucking things manifest themselves in reality, and we are hopelessly outmatched if we try to predict anything. What's next? Is he going to fuck his mum on the stream?
Oh,
I don't know.
Like,
he might end up in jail or killed by Mr. Vickers.
Are you starting to doubt your skeptic roots? Are you starting to believe there might be some divine intervention at play?
Possibly. Very possible, yes.
You know, like, what is going on? Really? Like, holy shit.
You've seen his dead father manifest himself in reality to deny his son.
There are miracles that work out. You must repent while you have time.
Oh,
all right, I'll repent.
I genuinely would like to see him change his life and fix his shit. I really
Yeah.
would, but I don't think he will. So it is.
It's like I always say. I don't try to root against people. I would love to wake up one day and see that Chris, like Christian Weston Chandler, got a job and is no longer like a weirdo talking about multiverses. Because if he can do it, then anyone can. It's the best thing that could ever happen. It would prove that there is no such thing as rock bottom. You can always climb out of the well. But I don't know. Ralph would have to come to terms with a lot of things that he's not currently comfortable coming to terms with.
Yeah.
And
I really wish Chris would figure it out too, but it's just it's going to be tough in the next 10 years following Chris, even the next 5 years.
Something just came to mind. I remember the times that I was on the Kill stream. I remember Ralph saying several times, nobody can make fun of me more than I can make fun of myself. I went to jail, motherfucker. We can always bounce back. I think people may have interpreted that as a challenge because I think the internet's making fun of you better than you can yourself.
It's every other dumbass fucking thing he said. He keeps issuing challenges. Like, try me, motherfucker. Abort my show, motherfucker. I dare you, motherfucker. Like, okay, fine. If you insist, I will fuck with you. If that's what you really want, Ralph. I'll try my best.
I think he is really hard on himself privately. Like, when he thinks about his life, I think he does know it's fucked up, and I think he is hard on himself. I do think that. I just don't think he has the willpower to change his behaviors. And that's the situation. I think he is a tough critic of himself, and I think he does have self-awareness. He just chooses to fucking try and power through it, and it's just not working for him.
I disagree. If it is true that he really makes a substantial amount of money, he has an incentive to believe that everything is fine.
Maybe. I kind of want to wrap it up by the end of the hour. PvP, do you mind if I play a outro song that may cause issues with your Dlive channel? I have a copy of this locally, if you don't mind.
Fuck them. Fuck them.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. I will be playing a spicy song as we end this. Any final thoughts? The round table?
What a disaster. I was walking down the street from this morning getting coffee, and I was listening to the Bitwave stream, and this is right before Kraut threw up. And I'm listening to it audio, and I'm hearing all the sloshes, the fucking liquid. It was just the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. And I'm walking down the street going, no, please stop. This is horrible. Please stop. So thank you, Ralph. You gave me the gift that I never wanted.
I can't wait to see what's next. I really can't wait.
I'm excited.
PvP?
Yeah, I'm excited as well for what's going to happen next. I honestly thought that after today, I was going to kind of ride off into the sunset a little bit, and I was just going to kind of, stop fucking with Ralph. But what really pissed me off today was Dick just fucking lying about not giving Ralph alcohol. And already, he admitted it so many times. And, when he was presented with the evidence, he still lied and said, no, I didn't. And just for me, that level of gaslighting and that level of gun guarding pisses me off to the point where I know that this is never going to end until either myself or Ralph is fucking dead in a grave. And so, I don't know. I would like to gracefully fucking walk off into the sunset saying he's finished. But I know this motherfucker is like a cockroach that's just going to keep fucking going, keep trying to fuck with people, keep trying to fuck with me. And I hate the people that enable it. And I'm more upset about the people that are enabling him than I am actually about his behavior. The fact that there are people out there who are still going to say, this is my mensch, this is my king. What the fuck? I mean, seriously? I can't even believe it. I wish, though, we had been able to get into more of those DMs that were done yesterday. We may have to do another show breaking this down in maybe a week's time or something with what's happened. But overall, it's fucking crazy. It's a wild ride. Buckle in because it's not over yet. So that's my final thought.
All right. And with that, I'd like to thank all 3.5 thousand people who watched this stream for joining us. I hope it was fun. Best to cut it off here. Brevity is the soul of wit. And my message would be, if you're listening to this and you are a member of the Gunt Guard, if you're still holding out hope for Ralph, remember, it is never too late to join the fun side. It is never too late to stand up and be counted and show the world that you're a man. Thank you.